I was set up on a blind date with my girlfriend's mother. Reborn Cao Tianyu is forced by his mother to go on a blind date. Cao Tianyu, hello, beautiful. You're amazing, but we're not quite a match. You're too young for me. I prefer older women, you know, more like mature ladies. Young ones just don't have that appeal. Chapter 1, Beautiful lady, I like them older, do you know what I mean? You, what are you doing? R. The entire screen was flooded with comments like, just because, as the current video played, a popular, ghostly video on a certain website. In the room, Cao Tianyu laughed hysterically for a long time, until he couldn't laugh anymore. He finally closed the computer and switched to slacker mode. In his past life, he had worked tirelessly, earning money but never having the chance to enjoy it, as he died from overwork. Now, reborn, Cao Tianyu's father was an academician at a research institute, receiving state allowances. His mother was the deputy director of a major hospital in China, so he had never lacked food or clothing. In this life, Cao Tianyu decided, I just want to lie down and do nothing. Beep 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 tilde. His phone rang. It was his mom calling. Could it be about what happened yesterday? With nothing else to do, he picked up the phone. Hello? What's up, Mom? Tianyu, did you add the girl I mentioned yesterday on WeChat? Your Aunt Sherry said she's very pretty. You better treat her well this time, don't mess things up, got it? His mom lectured him patiently, making Cao Tianyu keep agreeing. He'd almost forgotten about that. Looks like, even in a slacker mode, he's destined to face this kind of situation. He quickly flipped through his chat history with his mom and found a phone number sent yesterday. He hadn't paid attention to it at the time. 188x times 1314, nice number, one life, one love. Well, now wasn't the time to complain. Better add her on WeChat, or he'd have to listen to more of his mom's nagging. He quickly copied and pasted the number to add as a contact. What appeared on screen was a profile picture of a white lotus flower, with the nickname, heart-wrenching WeChat, and the signature read, peaceful years. He opened the moments, and there were no photos, just typical old person posts like, never trust this or that. Wait, something's wrong. Cao Tianyu muttered to himself a few times, this can't be 22. Are you kidding me? As he waited for the other party to accept his request, Cao Tianyu tossed his phone onto the bed, then leapt onto the mattress and started meditating. Just then, a WeChat notification rang. He opened it, and sure enough, the other person accepted the request. Heart-wrenching WeChat, I've approved your friend request. Now we can start chatting. Here it comes. Based on past blind date experiences, the opening line is crucial, as it usually reflects both parties' personalities and views on dating. The opening line had to make an impact. Without hesitation, Cao Tianyu sent 3 quick messages. Hello, beautiful. You're amazing, but we're not a good match. You're too young, only 22. I prefer mature women, you know, like those older ladies. Bye. Boom boom boom. He led with 3 bold lines, leaving the other person with no way to respond. After sending the messages, Cao Tianyu happily tossed his phone onto the bed. No way he was going to go through with this blind date. He was just looking for a fun lady, and if she wasn't understanding, she could deal with it. All he needed was to play Genshin Impact and watch videos all day, where the girls were pretty, their voices sweet, and he didn't have to take responsibility. It was just a little expensive, har har. He thought about his recent move, and this blind date was probably over before it started. In the Violet Orchid building, Sumai, who had just finished a meeting, sat lazily in a reclining chair. She kicked off her high heels, and her long legs were immediately freed. She leaned back against the chair, the delicate black stockings she wore shimmered in the sunlight from the floor to ceiling windows. Her full, round chest rose and fell with her breathing. She lifted one foot and placed it on the desk, stretching lazily. Her red lips parted slightly as she let out a contented sigh. Millimeter. After a soft exhale, Sumai reached out her flawless wrist to check her phone. When she saw the chat history, her half-closed, lazy eyes snapped wide open. Mature women. Older ladies. 22. Am I too young? Is this person a weirdo? Sumai furrowed her brows. She had thought the person her daughter introduced wouldn't be like this. Besides, this guy claimed to be 22. A thought crossed her mind. Was this the person Xiaoli had introduced to her daughter, Su Ningxue? Suddenly, Su Mai found it amusing. If any of her employees saw her right now, they'd surely be captivated. She quickly replied to the messages. Heart-wrenching WeChat. Cao Tianyu had just finished his takeout and was about to take a nap when, to his surprise, the other party didn't delete him immediately but replied again. Looks like he'd need to double down. Cao Tianyu quickly typed out his reply. Sorry, beautiful, I like them older. Do you know what I mean? Young girls just don't have that appeal. Cao Tianyu felt confident now. Most of his previous blind dates either blocked him or called him a pervert after seeing this. If not, they'd just ignore him and leave him as a zombie in their contacts. As long as there was no further conversation, he was happy. Su Mai raised an elegant brow when she saw Cao Tianyu's message. This guy seemed to have quite a lot to say. In Xiaoli's description, her son was supposed to be polite. How could he be like this? Was he different in front of people than behind their backs? Her curiosity was piqued. Though she knew it was a misunderstanding, Su Mai couldn't resist teasing him. So how old do you prefer? And what exactly is so appealing about mature women? When Cao Tianyu saw Su Mai's reply, he yawned, replying without much thought. You know the difference between apples and watermelons, right? You don't understand, but mature women have a taste that's uniquely satisfying. After sending the message, Cao Tianyu shut off his phone and happily started his afternoon nap. Su Mai, looking at the message on her phone, suddenly felt a flush on her otherwise cold face. What kind of person did Xiaoli introduce to my daughter? Looking at the chat, the earlier exchanges could be explained as a misunderstanding, but this last message was definitely flirting. She smiled wryly, forwarded the chat to Xiaoli, and lovely life tilde. Cao Tianyu, after waking up from his nap, stretched and checked his phone, seeing no new messages from his blind date. He smiled, thinking everything was going well. But just as he smiled, the phone rang again. Damn, mom's calling. Cao Tianyu jumped in shock. He mumbled, shouldn't she be done scolding me already? He answered the phone but hadn't even brought it to his ear before his mom's voice, dripping with sarcasm, hit him. You little brat, you're really something. Chapter 2. Cao Tianyu instinctively thought his mom was calling to scold him, feeling guilty as he said, Hee mom, what are you doing calling me? Aren't you supposed to be at the hospital? I've been really well behaved at home. He tried to test the waters to see what his mom's mood was. But before he could finish, his mom exploded on the other end of the line. You little brat, you've got a lot of nerve, don't you? Could it be that his mom wasn't calling to arrange a blind date? He quickly confirmed her tone, which was a mix of both anger and disbelief, meaning she was upset and helpless at the same time. Or could it be because of the blind date earlier? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Cao Tianyu quickly ran through everything he had done recently. Nothing major, just helping an old lady cross the street and getting scammed out of 5,000 yuan, taking a taxi to the wrong place, and applying for a hotel security job only to be mistaken by the police for a gigolo. Wait a minute. Could it be? Yes. The gigolo thing. As Cao Tianyu was about to explain the hotel incident, his mom interrupted, already furious. I told you to behave on the blind date, and you actually dared to flirt with the girl. You even said you like older women? Do you want me to buy you a winter melon to see if it's big enough? And you called her a mature woman. Want me to find you a lady in her 80s or 90s so you can really experience it? Cao Tianyu quickly covered his ears, stepping far away from the phone, as his mom's sarcastic voice rang in his ears. So it was about the blind date after all. Cao Tianyu was speechless. That girl actually reported him to his mom. No honor at all. This was like when he was a kid, secretly eating snacks in class, and some tattletale reported him to the teacher. It really hurt to the core. Wait. To the core. That woman was vicious. At this point, Cao Tianyu had already labeled Su Mai as a malicious person in his mind. Once his mom's ranting died down, he reflexively defended himself. Mom, I was just talking about age, not well, you know. And besides, 80 or 90 years old would be great-grandmother age for me. I just said that casually. Before Cao Tianyu could finish his explanation, his mom cut him off. Look at my memory, it's all your fault. Didn't you notice anything strange during your chat with the girl? His mom started questioning him. Cao Tianyu scratched his head, puzzled, and answered, strange. What do you mean? The girl's WeChat profile picture had a lotus flower. Her nickname was Pain to the Heart. Her signature was The Years Are Peaceful. Her friend circle was full of elderly people. Oh mom, what do you mean? There was a long pause on the other end of the line. You little brat. The WeChat you added today wasn't your blind date, it was her mom. No wonder little Lee didn't make it clear when she gave me the phone number. I thought it was the girl herself. This little Lee. Bang. Cao Tianyu felt like he heard a gunshot in his mind, followed by a buzzing, and he was completely speechless. What was going on? He had been chatting with the blind date's mom the whole time. Then he stopped paying attention to whatever else his mom said, until he heard the last part of the conversation. Stinky brat, your Aunt Lee helped you out, so now the girl will meet you in person. Tonight, at 6 p.m., in the Rose Paradise, Box 6. If you mess this up again on purpose, you know how your mom can be. Without giving him a chance to argue, his mom hung up the phone. Looking at the phone screen as it beeped with a busy signal, Cao Tianyu was speechless and stunned. What had he done? He'd been talking to his blind date's mom. He shuddered just thinking about it. Focusing his thoughts, Cao Tianyu glanced at his phone. It was already 5 p.m. Rose Paradise was only a 30-minute drive from his home. Though he was reluctant about the blind date, since his mom had insisted, he had to at least show up. Whether it worked out or not, he had to give his mom an explanation to avoid endless nagging. So Cao Tianyu rushed to the bathroom to get ready. Rose Paradise. Entering the restaurant, a waiter greeted him with a smile, bowing slightly. Good evening, sir. How many people? Cao Tianyu returned a smile. I have a reservation. He then asked, excuse me, where is box 6? The waiter smiled and gestured, this way, sir. Soon, after passing several identical rooms, the waiter pointed to a door. Here it is, sir. If you need anything during your meal, don't hesitate to contact us. Thank you. Cao Tianyu walked toward the room. When he reached the door, he glanced at the number. It was indeed 6. But the door plate seemed loose, and there was a blackened nail above it. Not thinking too much about it, Cao Tianyu knocked and then turned the handle to open the door. As he closed the door, he noticed the number on the door plate flipped around halfway and changed to 9. Cao Tianyu stepped into the room, frozen. It wasn't too big, but there was only one person sitting at the table, a woman. A beautiful woman, probably around 30 years old. Her jet black, silky hair hung over her shoulders, and her delicate, elegant face was as smooth as a jade plate. Her wrists were as white as snow, her skin flawless, and her eyes sparkled with an intellectual, serene beauty. As he looked at her more closely, 2 words popped into his head. Intellectual beauty. This woman exuded a natural sense of grace. However, she seemed cold, perhaps cold toward him. From where he stood, Cao Tianyu could still feel an aura of stay away from me radiating from her. Who are you? The woman's voice, soft and clear, broke the silence. Cao Tianyu could sense the coldness in her voice, clearly showing her displeasure about this blind date. Well, that worked for him. He had never intended to take the blind date seriously. He just had to get through this for his mom. I'm here for the blind date. Ignoring her cold tone, Cao Tianyu plopped down across from her, grinning. A blind date. The woman seemed surprised, then looked at Cao Tianyu with suspicion, her eyes filled with disbelief. You mean you're here to date me? Yep, let me introduce myself. This way, we can get to know each other better. The woman fell silent, her expression a bit strange. Cao Tianyu's eyes shifted, and he began his introduction. My name is Cao Tianyu, Cao as in cow cow, Tian as in the Big Dipper, and Yu as in astronaut. I'm 25, male, and my hobbies include women. I see you're so beautiful. To be honest, I really hate blind dates, but fate brought us together in this vast sea of people. So, how about you bring your ID card and household register along? The woman furrowed her brows, staring at him with an incredulous expression. ID card? Household register? Cao Tianyu grinned. Yep, sis, don't you need those to register for marriage? As soon as the words left his mouth, a look of anger flashed across the woman's face. She was about to lash out at him when suddenly, the door was pushed open, and the waiter rushed in, bowing in apology. Sorry, sir. There's been a mix-up. This is actually box 9, not box 6. I'm really sorry for the confusion. Cao Tianyu's mouth dropped open, like he could fit a basketball inside. What? He uttered a shocked exclamation in English, completely dumbfounded. Another mistake. The woman stared at him, amused by his reaction. The waiter continued. I apologize again, sir. To make up for the inconvenience, your meal tonight will be completely free of charge. Chapter 3, The Activation of the Everything Listens system. Cao Tianyu felt so awkward he could have just crawled into the floor. What bad luck. He added the wrong person on WeChat. And now, he went to the wrong table for his blind date. Could he be cursed with the world's worst luck? He grabbed the waiter's arm and whispered, Can you please take me to the 6th private room? It's urgent, more urgent than you can imagine. Understood, sir. The waiter nodded. As he left, Cao Tianyu said apologetically, I'm so sorry, I messed up. This is so embarrassing. He scratched his head and quickly exited. The woman sitting at the wrong table didn't say anything, but her anger seemed to dissipate, replaced with a hint of curiosity about Cao Tianyu's embarrassed expression. Once Cao Tianyu and the waiter were out of sight, the woman murmured to herself, a blind date. This might be interesting. In the 6th private room. Su Ningxue glanced at her phone again. It was already 6:34 p.m. She was half an hour late. Men. If it weren't for Aunt Leah's introduction, I wouldn't be here. I heard this guy even added the wrong WeChat and messaged my mom by mistake. Ridiculous. When he comes, I'll definitely give him a piece of my mind. Outside the 6th private room. Sir, this is the correct room. Apologies once again. The waiter pointed to another private room, making sure this time the doorplate clearly showed 6. Thank you, Cao Tianyu said, walking up to the door and turning the handle. The room's interior was identical to the previous one, except this time, a woman was sitting at the table, her cheeks puffed in anger. Cao Tianyu was about to apologize when a voice buzzed in his ear, and a speech bubble appeared above the woman's head. Su Ningxue, this man. He made me wait for half an hour. What's going on? Cao Tianyu was confused, wondering who was talking. Then, a mechanical voice echoed in his mind. System, ding. Congratulations to the host for activating the Everything Listens system. System. Rebirth essential item. It's here. It's finally here. But how did I activate it? System, due to the hostess' repeated bad luck over 10,000 incidents, this system has been activated as a reward. System, as the name suggests, this system allows the host to hear the thoughts of everything. That's it? Cao Tianyu waited for more details, but the system didn't explain further. No panels, no spiritual powers, just this. Great. System introduction complete. Goodbye, host. What the hell? How do I use this thing? At the moment, the priority was to clear up the misunderstanding about being late. After all, he could already hear what she was thinking. Looking at Su Ningxue's puffed up face, Cao Tianyu sincerely apologized, I'm really sorry, I got the room number wrong. The sign on the 9th private room was loose, so it changed to 6. I thought that was the right room, and that's why. His tone was genuinely apologetic, which made Su Ningxue huff in a dismissive way. You know how rude it is to make a girl wait for half an hour. Su Ningxue said, her nose twitching, her voice half annoyed. Cao Tianyu apologized again, but this time he heard her thoughts. Su Ningxue, that's the excuse he is using? The number 9 turned into 6. Is Aunt Lee just trying to make him meet me? Plus, as a college student, going on a blind date if my best friend finds out, it'd be so embarrassing. Now that Cao Tianyu knew her thoughts, it was easier to handle. He could tell she was still dwelling on being late, and as a man, he still needed to explain further. Though it sounds unbelievable, it really happened. The waiter can confirm it for you. He looked into Su Ningxue's lively eyes and continued, and as for your best friend knowing about this blind date, it's really not such a shameful thing. Su Ningxue, how does he know what I'm thinking? Did he investigate me? You? Su Ningxue was slightly angry but seemed to have realized the mistake was about the room number. So you're the Cao Tianyu Aunt Lee mentioned? Su Ningxue asked, her tone somewhat haughty. At this point, Cao Tianyu had already taken his seat and was looking her over. Su Ningxue's name was cold, just like her demeanor. Her makeup was delicate and her smooth, black hair fell straight down her back. She had a refined aura. The only flaw was her modest chest, but it could still be developed with some effort. Yes, I'm Cao Tianyu. You must be Su Ningxue, Cao Tianyu replied. He reached for the glass of water in front of him and was about to take a sip when he nearly choked. The glass of water suddenly spoke, "Hey, handsome. I'm a proper glass, but don't forget your posture while drinking. The beauty-s watching you." The table seemed to mutter too, "It's amazing to have the beauty-s skin pressed against me. Even the clean floor, why do I keep getting stepped on? I hate you all. What's going on? Are all things coming to life?" System, this is the power of the everything listens system. It can listen to not only human thoughts but everything around you. Please explore more functions. Cao Tianyu was at a loss for words. Cough, cough, cough. Cao Tianyu quickly put the glass back on the table to avoid choking. Once he finished his actions, Su Ningxue cleared her throat and coldly stared at him. "I'll make this short. I'm not happy with this blind date. I hope you tell Aunt Li when you go back that you didn't like me. Is that okay?" Cao Tianyu returned her gaze and replied, "How about this, I'll make it short too. You go back and say you didn't like me. How does that sound?" At that moment, Su Ningxue's thoughts emerged again. Su Ningxue, is he trying to put the blame on me? My mom has been pressuring me to find someone, and I've smartly found him a date. You? Su Ningxue took a deep breath, calming herself down. Then what do you think of me? She asked. Cao Tianyu squinted and smiled. Are you being forced to find someone? I have an idea, want to hear it? Su Ningxue raised an eyebrow, resting her chin on her hand, curious to hear what he had to say. How about this, when we go back, we both say we're happy with each other. If your family asks, just say you're still getting to know me, and I'll do the same with mine. This way, we avoid more blind dates and endless nagging from our parents. What do you think? Cao Tianyu finished his suggestion and took a sip of water, waiting for her response. Su Ningxue thought for a moment, her eyes narrowing suspiciously. After a long pause, she finally spoke. Deal. Su Ningxue, didn't he expect him to have a good idea? All right, I'll play along for now. One step at a time. Chapter 4, So, the campus belle's personal bodyguard. After the blind date with Su Ningxue ended, the two went their separate ways. Cao Tianyu drove his Mini back home. Along the way, the Mini couldn't help but complain. Mini, I'm so hungry, the fuel's down to 95%, I'm pitiful. Mini, every day, being driven around, as a car, I'm just so tired. Mini, next life, I want to be a big truck. I'll get bigger and stronger so that beautiful women will like me. Cao Tianyu felt a bit emo. Looks like it really is time to replace the car. He was still thinking about the system and how to use it. Sometimes the objects and people he saw would reveal their inner thoughts, but other times, that didn't seem to be the case. He had to figure this out properly. The journey wasn't long, and he soon arrived home. As soon as he walked in, his mom was sitting on the couch. When she saw him, she gave him a gentle look, just like every worried mom in the world, and then softly asked about the results of the blind date. Cao Tianyu hung up his coat on the rack. He noticed that so far, everything at home was silent, none of the things were revealing their inner thoughts. Was it just because he had just arrived home? Maybe he hadn't interacted with anything enough yet. It didn't seem to be the case, though. From the couch, his mom's voice came again, asking about the date. Tianyu, how did it go with the girl Auntie Xiaoli introduced? Was she nice? Is she a beauty? What did you think of her? Cao Tianyu nervously sat down farther from his mom on the couch, scratching his head awkwardly. When his mom asked again, the listening system kicked in. It had started. It seemed like the system activated when he looked at things or people. He clicked on the bubble above his mom's head to listen. Mom, this brat, always trying to avoid blind dates. Today, I'll interrogate him properly. Tianyu, how did it go today? Mom asked with a smile. After hearing his mom's thoughts, Cao Tianyu scratched his head and said, Oh, it was okay. Okay? Did it work out, or not? Did you like her? Did she like you? Mom kept pressing. We just exchanged WeChat, Cao Tianyu said, taking a sip of water. His mom slapped her thigh, and then the famous words came. Then it's settled. When are you two going to live together and give me some grandchildren? Cough, cough, cough. Cao Tianyu almost choked. Luckily, he was used to it and had learned to handle such situations. The arrogant glass cup spoke up. Glass cup, bro, how could you choke again? You're embarrassing me. You're embarrassing. I'm the one who's really losing face here. Mom, it's way too early for that. Living together and grandkids. Seriously? Cao Tianyu smiled bitterly. At this point, his mom looked at him seriously, her tone full of warmth. Tianyu, treat that girl well. Was his mom getting emotional now? Mom's warm thoughts, this brat, treat that girl well. It seemed his mom was convinced the blind date had been a success. Millimeter. Cao Tianyu responded affirmatively and was about to go to his room to take a shower and rest. But his mom suddenly grabbed him and pulled out an enrollment notice. Tianyu, here's the enrollment notice from Tianhai University. You should go start school tomorrow. Staying at home all the time isn't good. Your dad also agrees. Cao Tianyu never expected his parents would send him to college. He took the enrollment notice. Enrollment notice, Tianhai University is one of the top universities. Little brother, I wonder if you'll fit in there. Cao Tianyu folded up the enrollment notice. If only they knew in his past life, he was close to being a genius, a prodigy. I'll go. By the way, I forgot to tell you. Your blind date is also in this university, and she has the campus belle. As a guy, you need to take good care of her. His mom dropped another bombshell. What? Cao Tianyu froze, his mind going blank as the words appeared in his head. The campus belle's personal bodyguard. Meanwhile, elsewhere. Inside a luxurious room. What? You want me to live with someone else? Are you even my mother? Su Ningxue stared in shock at her mother, Su Mai. Su Mai waved her hand and spoke with confusion. Didn't you just say you hit it off with that guy from the blind date? Are you lying to me? Just because I like him, we have to live together. Oh my god, do you think I can't get married? Su Ningxue said helplessly. If you can get married, where's your boyfriend? Su Mai glanced at her. Su Ningxue's face turned cold as she retorted, boyfriend, I don't want one. Su Mai wasn't interested in her daughter's excuses. On one hand, it was because of herself, and on the other, it was because of her daughter Su Ningxue. Schwerer, I want you to have a happy college life and a happy future partner, at least happier than I was. Mom. Su Ningxue's eyes grew moist as she met her mother's burning gaze. She couldn't speak for a moment. Stop crying, silly child, Su Mai said, gently patting her daughter's head with a smile. The next second, Su Mai turned her head, her eyes also filled with tears, all because of the secret Su Ningxue was hiding. A sleepless night. Tianhai University. The gathering place for the top students in China. Every year, the first day of school in the afternoon is reserved for a professional exam to motivate students to strive for excellence. However, Cao Tianyu was an exception. Normally, Tianhai University's board of directors would never accept a student who hadn't taken the college entrance examination. However, the university's president had once been saved by Cao Tianyu's mother, so this special approval was only to repay a favor. At that moment, the board of directors was holding a meeting as scheduled. Compared to previous meetings, this one felt especially serious. The board member sitting on the right side of the square table spoke, bringing the meeting straight to the point. President, regarding the student you've specially approved, Cao Tianyu, I believe that this entrance exam should focus on evaluating him. If his professional knowledge score is too low, he should be expelled immediately. As soon as those words were spoken, the atmosphere in the meeting room grew even more tense. Everyone nodded in agreement, except for the president, who was still deep in thought. The president glanced around at the others and then made a decision. His deep voice rang out. Since everyone is so concerned about Cao Tianyu, here's the plan. If he scores above 70 on this professional exam, he'll be admitted directly. If he scores below 70, we'll expel him immediately. What do you all think? Once the president said that, it was final, and the others didn't voice any further objections. After all, a 70 on a law exam, everyone knew what that meant. The board members exchanged glances and then nodded in agreement. The president's heart was filled with guilt, and he quietly thought to himself, "I'm so sorry, my lifesaver. If it weren't for you, I might have already passed away." Meanwhile, Cao Tianyu, having finally received his enrollment notice, arrived at the school's administration office. As he walked past the window, he couldn't help but glance inside. At that moment, a graceful and elegant beauty caught his eye. The next second, Cao Tianyu's jaw dropped, because this beautiful woman was none other than the one he had mistakenly thought was his blind date at Rose Paradise. "The window, what are you looking at, kid? Want me to report you for peeping?" Chapter 5. Hey, are you looking for trouble on purpose? He tiptoed to the door, like a student who had done something wrong. Cao Tianyu stood outside the door and took a deep breath to calm himself down. Because it was a university, the report was late, and it was already autumn. Cao Tianyu, wearing a sweater, had an idea. Why not just put the hood of the sweater on his head, take out a mask from his pocket and put it on, so that she could still recognize him? "I'm afraid even my mother wouldn't recognize me in my current state." The flattering mask, "Master, even if I cover myself like this, I can't hide your handsome face." Faced with the compliment of the mask, Cao Tianyu just said slightly that being handsome was only one of his advantages, and he had another advantage, which was that he was handsome. Just walked into the door. Cao Tianyu found that there was no one else in the office, only her, probably because of the freshman report. Looking around, he saw the name on the woman's seat, Zhang Ningxue. Zhang Ningxue? That's a nice name. At this moment, Zhang Ningxue was concentrating on checking the student information in her hand. Cao Tianyu listened subconsciously. Zhang Ningxue, frowning. This Cao Tianyu? Who is he? He was admitted to Qianhai University without taking the college entrance examination. Zhang Ningxue, Cao Tianyu. By the way, the man in Rose Paradise before, is he also called Cao Tianyu? It can't be such a coincidence. If it's you, then it's easy. Who let you fall into my hands? He was actually looking at my information and started to doubt me. It's over. Women's hearts are like needles in the sea, and women's hearts are the most poisonous. Not to mention that I am her. Cao Tianyu is a little confused now, firstly because he doesn't know how his mother let him in here, and secondly, what should he do with the trouble in front of him? There is no way to force it, so he can only lie down and muddle through. Walk to the corner. Cao Tianyu lowered his head and covered the brim of his hat tightly. The mask also covered 80% of his face. He pinched his throat and said, "Hello, teacher, I am Cao Tianyu, reporting here." Zhang Ningxue was still thinking whether this Cao Tianyu was the same person he met before, and didn't notice Cao Tianyu at all. Just now, he heard a sharp voice beside him, and suddenly looked up at Cao Tianyu. "Are you Cao Tianyu? Are you okay, classmate?" Zhang Ningxue's beautiful eyes slightly looked at Cao Tianyu standing upright in front of him. "Zhang Ningxue, this classmate doesn't have an infectious disease, he is covered so tightly, and his voice are also strange." Zhang Ningxue, Cao Tianyu. Could it be that he was in Rose Paradise that day? How about testing it? After learning about Zhang Ningxue's thoughts, Cao Tianyu became more alert. "Teacher, isn't it autumn recently? I'm sorry for catching a cold, and I'm afraid I'll infect others." Cao Tianyu and Zhang Ningxue explained, pretending to sneeze from time to time. Har. Zhang Ningxue turned around immediately when she saw this. She didn't want to catch a cold, but she wanted to test Cao Tianyu. Blind date. Zhang Ningxue threw out the word blind date, and the smart Zhang Ningxue chose to see Cao Tianyu's reaction first. Cao Tianyu had expected Zhang Ningxue to test him a long time ago. When Zhang Ningxue said the word blind date, he remained calm. "Teacher Zhang, do you mean you want to go on a blind date? Then I can introduce you to someone. I have a cousin." Cao Tianyu's serious nonsense made Zhang Ningxue a little impatient. "Zhang Ningxue, so it's really not him? In fact, it doesn't look like him on the admission ticket, but it just feels weird." Zhang Ningxue once again looked at Cao Tianyu in front of him. He looked like a student, and he was completely different from Cao Tianyu in Rose Paradise. Maybe he was overthinking. It was normal to have the same name. Then he took out an admission ticket from the neatly arranged table and handed it to Cao Tianyu, saying lightly, "No, classmate Cao, you must have heard it wrong. I didn't say anything just now. Since you have reported here, you should also know that Qianhai University has an entrance exam. There will be a professional knowledge exam at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Your major is law. Cao Tianyu, who took the admission ticket, was stunned by the photo of himself on it at first glance, because this fucking photo turned out to be a photo of himself in junior high school. But he was still so handsome. My mother is really good at it. I almost got caught. Thank God, thank the earth, thank Washare TV, and of course, thank my mother most importantly. The admission ticket also spoke at this time. Admission ticket. As an admission ticket, I must remind all candidates to remember to bring me before the exam, otherwise you will be asked to leave by the invigilator in a friendly manner. The admission ticket makes sense. I said goodbye to Zhang Yingzi. Cao Tianyu took out his mobile phone and looked at the time. It was already past 11 o'clock. He went to the cafeteria to eat first. He was hungry. As soon as he walked out of the teaching office, a beautiful woman with a pair of ponytails ran towards him and ran straight to the end of the front. That, classmate. Cao Tianyu didn't even finish talking about his classmate. The girl didn't care about what he said. She covered her stomach with a slightly ugly face and didn't show any signs of stopping for a moment. Looking at the woman going away, the listening of all things started again. A beautiful woman with urgent matters, my stomach hurts. It can't be my period. It's all Su Ningxue's fault for letting me eat so many delicious foods, oh tilde. Su Ningxue? Does this person know Su Ningxue? Just then, the system popped up at an inopportune time. System, dear handsome host, considering your current state of studying seriously, voluntarily, going to university, congratulations on your chance to tell the truth. Cao Tianyu, truth. I choose dare. System, sorry, only truth. Cao Tianyu, who developed this system? It's so old-fashioned. Forget it, I'll just ask the most urgent question. Oh, what I want to know most. After racking my brains, what do I want to know now? Who am I? This is too profound. The origin of the universe. No, it's obvious that the system will Baidu perfunctory. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? It seems too philosophical. Yes, I got it. System, please tell me. Cao Tianyu, by the way, system, that, who is your father? System. Wu Yuzi's system, in view of the host's current mental state, this truth has been used up. Leaving Cao Tianyu standing there stupidly with a confused face. Isn't that the truth we agreed on? System, you actually called me a psychopath. Just at this moment, a faint noise came from the corridor. Brother Jie. This summer, the law experts have helped you review many times. You will be the first in the exam at the beginning of the semester. Of course, the most important thing is the school beauty Su Ningxue. This girl promised to be Brother Jie's girlfriend if he gets the first place in the exam. 3 men, 1 in front and 2 behind, walked and talked as if they were chatting and laughing, and didn't notice Cao Tianyu in the middle of the corridor at all. Su Ningxue again. Cao Tianyu held his chin. This Su Ningxue was also a school beauty. No wonder so many people were thinking about her. Bang! Suddenly, the man who was called Brother Jie in the lead accidentally bumped his head into Cao Tianyu. What's wrong with you, kid? You don't hide when you see people. Do you think you are sculpture? The man called Brother Jie was obviously a little angry. He rubbed the painful area with his hand and pointed at Cao Tianyu and cursed. The 2 students who looked like lackeys behind him also pointed at him. You kid. Do you know who this is? Cao Tianyu was in good health. After being hit, he didn't feel anything at the moment. He just felt uncomfortable being scolded like that. Logically, they were all responsible. He frowned and glanced at this so-called Brother Jie. He was wearing black leather jacket and leather pants. If you didn't know him, you would think he was a gangster. He had a familiar slicked back hair. You could smell the wax from a distance. His eyebrows revealed a sense of decadence and even a little kidney deficiency. Cao Tianyu said apologetically. My classmate, first of all, I am wrong for standing here, but you didn't even look at the road and bumped into me. Isn't that wrong too? When Brother Jie heard this, he was immediately furious. Hey! Are you deliberately looking for trouble? Chapter 6 The test paper has become a spirit. Tell me the answer? I'm not looking for trouble. I'm just talking about the facts. Cao Tianyu answered. You? Brother Jie was so angry at Cao Tianyu's indifferent attitude. The 2 lackeys couldn't stand it anymore. They rushed forward and stopped Cao Tianyu one after the other, and started to debate. One of the lackeys asked eagerly. Do you know who he is? Cao Tianyu shook his head. I don't know. Do you know how good he is? Cao Tianyu shook his head again. I don't know. Do you know how good he is at studying? I don't know. Cao Tianyu felt like his head was going to break. Snap. Brother Jie slapped the lackey on the head. You idiot, talking so much nonsense. The other lackey was obviously smarter. He surrounded Cao Tianyu and challenged him directly. Our Zhao Jie, Brother Jie. He is a genius from the law department of Tianhai University. Can you afford to pay for damaging his smart brain cells? Cao Tianyu finally understood at this time. Did he want him to apologize? Based on the principle of new arrival, please take care of him, just bear with it. Zhao Jie, must give this brat a warning. Zhao Jie. Also from the law department. Cao Tianyu was a little interested in people with the same major. Also? You are also from the law department. Zhao Jie said with disdain, as if he was not interested in Cao Tianyu at all. Because according to his understanding, there are only 3 classes of candidates for the law department this time, with 40 students in each class, and a total of 120 students. So you are cannon fodder? Har har har. The henchman who was patted on the head before pointed at Cao Tianyu and began to ridicule. Law department. Isn't he still a waste who can't even get 60 points? One of the henchmen circled around Cao Tianyu. Zhao Jie was smug on the side. He was about to speak. Cao Tianyu spoke before him. 60 points. I have never scored less than 90 points in various exams since I was a child. Zhao Jie, is this kid crazy? Do you know who is the person who set the questions for the lore major this time? But it is teacher Zhang San, who is known as the lore-breaking maniac. The 3 of them were confused, and even Zhao Jie touched Cao Tianyu's forehead to observe whether Cao Tianyu had a fever. Brother. You are not sick, har har har. Still 90 points. Are you crazy? Since you don't believe it, I, Cao Tianyu, can't do anything. Cao Tianyu spread his hands and waved. Cao Tianyu? Forget it, brother, I dare not deal with mental illness, let's go. Said Zhao Jie, and the 2 henchmen hurriedly left here. And in the teaching room. Due to the loud noise outside, Zhang Ningxue heard everything that happened outside the door clearly. Lore major exam. Not less than 90 points. This Cao Tianyu. Zhang Ningxue also showed the same suspicious expression as Zhao Jie. Cao Tianyu, who was a little hungry, rushed into the cafeteria. In the cafeteria, Cao Tianyu actually saw Su Ningxue. There was another beauty with her, with twin ponytails, who looked like a best friend. School beauties were treated differently. In just a few minutes, the cafeteria seats were surrounded. But then Su Ningxue and her best friend Yi Zihan also moved to a corner seat where no one was, because it was really uncomfortable to be noticed. Shui baby, did you really agree to that Zhao Jie? You will be his girlfriend if you get the first place in the professional knowledge of lore. Han, I just said it casually. Who knows? Then you are done. As far as I know, Zhao Jie has hired a professional teacher to study for the entire holiday, plus other people in the lore department. You are done. What should I do? Yi Zihan saw that Su Ningxue's panic was very cute, and the corners of her mouth slightly raised, and she smiled wickedly. Shui baby, I have a way. What is the way? Tell me quickly. Su Ningxue was so anxious. Yi Zihan immediately leaned close to Su Ningxue's ear and muttered, and Su Ningxue's face gradually turned red. What are you talking about? Su Ningxue grabbed Yi Zihan's chest with both hands. After lunch, time passed quickly. It was already 2:30 in the afternoon in a blink of an eye. In the classroom examination room. Cao Tianyu was already sitting in the examination room, waiting for the invigilator to hand out the test paper. At this time, he accidentally saw Zhao Jie, who bumped into him before. It was indeed him, with this big back hair. Hey, you didn't believe me, I'm really a legend. Soon, as the ringtone rang, the phone was handed in, and the exam began. At this time, more listening voices in the examination room were also reflected. Candidate A, it's over. I played Genshin Impact until 45 yesterday, and now I'm still sleepy. It's over. Candidate B, what's the formula? Got it, choose the shortest for 3 longs and 1 short, choose the longest for 3 shorts and 1 long, choose B for different lengths, choose D for uneven, A for the same length, C for the same short. All done. Perfect. Candidate C. Law is a humanities and social science that studies the social phenomenon of law or law and its laws. Law studies legal phenomena, examines the generation, development and laws of law, and studies. Fuck. What are you studying? Zhao Jie, after I win the first place this time, Su Ningxue will agree to be my girlfriend. Gel pen, you all have to rely on me to score points. Fortunately, I have a trick up my sleeve. I will randomly pick a lucky person who can't write. The seat where someone sits, I only have one wish. Please don't torture me and make me sway. Especially, don't fart. After listening to many voices, Cao Tianyu suddenly realized that I don't know these people, and I can listen to others. In this way, the answer will be easy to get. The other way around is not right. I don't know these people, so I naturally don't know whether the results are good or bad, and it is difficult for me to decide whether the answer is right or wrong. What should I do? Oh, right. Zhao Jie. According to what his henchman said, he should be very powerful. Cao Tianyu glanced at Zhao Jie again, looking confident. He had an idea in mind. After a while, the loudspeaker hanging on the wall began to play the examination room discipline. The test papers were distributed immediately afterwards. I haven't taken an exam for a long time, and I feel nostalgic. The first question is all multiple choice questions. Question 1, the conclusion of the valid syllogism with map as the major premise and sim as the minor premise is A.sap, B.sep, C.sip, D.sup. Cao Tianyu was confused. He couldn't understand it at all. Just then, a bunch of bubbles began to appear on the test paper, and then a proud voice sounded in his ears. Test paper, Li Jigan, the God and the Devil. Such a simple question, what are you thinking? Choose C. Cao Tianyu only knew that he could listen to people and things before, but the test paper is all questions. Is C the correct answer? Cao Tianyu listened to Zhao Jie's thoughts with a skeptical attitude. Zhao Jie, SIP, this first question is so simple. It seems that the answer to this first question should be C. Cao Tianyu was overjoyed. Then I won't get full marks. Next question, let's continue. Test paper, choose A, you're making me anxious. After finishing the multiple choice questions, we finally came to the case analysis questions. Case analysis questions, Li Hua went to a prostitute and agreed to pay 1,000 yuan per time. In order to show off his financial strength, Li Hua said he would give her 3,000 yuan, and the woman readily agreed. Finally, after the prostitution, the woman was furious because Li Hua pretended to be rich and gave her a stack of ghost money for the dead. The woman was furious and reported Li Hua, and finally both of them were arrested by the police. What crimes did Li Hua commit in this case? As soon as he saw Li Hua, Cao Tianyu couldn't hold it anymore, and his memory instantly went back to the youthful and familiar years of junior high school. Suddenly, the answer on the test paper interrupted his memory. Test paper, to know what will happen next, please see the next chapter for analysis. Chapter 7 Small-Minded System, Qinshu Cao Tianyu. Cao Tianyu looked up and glanced at the clock on the upper left of the blackboard. It clearly says 3:12. I have finished 40 multiple choice questions, and it only took me 12 minutes. Let me see what others say about the difficulty before making any plans. Candidate A, fuck, this is a question made by someone, all of it is small knowledge points, the person who made the question is really amazing. Candidate B, my dad is a rich man, I am here to gild myself, ABCD, hurry up and finish guessing, otherwise my girlfriend will be worried. Candidate C, turn to the case analysis question, Li Hua, you are really a badass, I thought you were a good student with all-round development, your English is very good, you often write letters to foreign pen pals, and you actively participate in various school activities. I didn't expect you to be this kind of person when you grow up. Zhao Jie, this kind of question is as light as a swallow, I can get more than 80 points with this difficulty, so the first place will definitely be mine. Su Ningxue, your boyfriend's brother is here. Cao Tianyu woke up from his dream, and heard Zhao Jie's shameless smirk, and decided that he would never let him succeed. The test paper quickly said the answer. However, the test paper did not tell itself the answer. Test paper, I don't agree that the protagonist of this case analysis is not John-san. As for the answer to this question, I have a small request, hee hee. Cao Tianyu drooped his handsome face and replied to the test paper in his mind. Cao Tianyu, don't take advantage of others. I tell you, I studied law. Cute test paper, this is also the idea of the system, hee hee. Cao Tianyu clenched his fists. System, are you still upset about the last truth? I didn't expect that the system would also hold a grudge. Cao Tianyu, forget it, I don't remember the mistakes of the villains. Tell me what request you have, I am not afraid of it. Cute test paper, the request is actually very simple now. Shout, I am a fool, in front of all the candidates, hee hee. Cao Tianyu spit and swallowed. Okay, I am a fool. Back to reality. The test paper didn't say anything this time. It seems that you really need to complete the small requirements assigned by the system to get the answer. Let me say that I am a fool. Cao Tianyu's mind turned rapidly. Finally, he thought of a way. He did it right away. Turned over the corner of the draft paper and gently tore it a little, just the size of a triangle. Because I used a gel pen, there was a button on the pen cap. After writing a few big words on the triangular paper, I clamped it on the pen button. Next is the crime scene. First, let the teacher notice me, and then the pen will naturally roll to the student in front. According to the rule of the invigilator's invigilation and wandering and stopping, it is likely to come to me at 3:21. Gently place the crime tool, neutral pen, on the upper left corner of the table, wait for the invigilator to come, push it down to the ground to create a false impression of cheating, confuse the audience, and finally complete the feat. Say that I am a fool. Here it comes. I feel my heart hanging in my throat. In the examination room, with the sound of the invigilator's leather shoes, approaching his position step by step, Cao Tianyu knew that the opportunity had come. 3, 2, 1. After counting to 1 in his heart, Cao Tianyu stretched out a finger and pushed the neutral pen. With a snap, the cylindrical, neutral pen kept rolling down and finally stopped on the leg of the chair in front. The first step was finally completed. It was up to the invigilator to supervise the examination. A strong wind with the smell of smoke whizzed past. Yes, it was the invigilator. The black-framed glasses were like radar, directly seeing Cao Tianyu's neutral pen on the ground, and keenly discovered the note on it. Student, stand up. The sharp eye swept across Cao Tianyu and a position in front of Cao Tianyu. With just a glance, the invigilator asked Cao Tianyu to stand up. By listening, Cao Tianyu got the invigilator's voice. The serious invigilator, you dare to cheat under my nose, and throw notes nakedly. I will expose you and make you get 0 points. Thinking that the second step was successful, Cao Tianyu was secretly happy. Cao Tianyu slowly stood up, his hands unconsciously tossed back and forth, releasing a panicked breath. The invigilator's guess was more certain. Other students also looked at Cao Tianyu. Of course, Zhao Jie also found Cao Tianyu. Zhao Jie, it turned out to be this psychopath. Last time, he wore a mask and couldn't see his face clearly. He also said that he always got 90 points in the exam. It turned out to be cheating. Candidate A, it's time for the cheating scene that I like to watch the most. Candidate B, oh my god, I just had the idea of cheating. I didn't expect to be caught. Forget it, let's open the door. The invigilator coughed and asked other candidates to continue the exam. Then he picked up Cao Tianyu's neutral pen. Invigilator, let me see who you are going to pass the answer to. He quickly pulled out the note and opened it. The invigilator was dumbfounded and said, I am a fool. The exam was already in a quiet atmosphere. The invigilator's whisper was also heard by the people present. One of the students suddenly laughed, and then the second, the third, and finally all laughed. Just when the invigilator was about to enforce the exam discipline, Cao Tianyu slowly said, actually, I am a fool. But no one was laughing in the exam room. Only the invigilator was left standing there at a loss. Invigilator, what's going on? Teacher, can you give me my pen back? Cao Tianyu said innocently, which made the invigilator helpless. After all, no one else cheated. HMPH. After a cold snort, he reluctantly handed the neutral pen to Cao Tianyu. Thank you, teacher. Can I sit down now? Sit down. The invigilator said sternly with his eyes wide open. Cao Tianyu sat down with a thump. He silently said in his heart, I'm sorry, invigilator. Who knew that because of this, the invigilator would keep an eye on him? Cao Tianyu could feel the invigilator's peripheral vision looking at him like a radar. Serious invigilator, playing pranks during the exam, you can tell at a glance that you are a poor student. Neutral pen, I didn't expect that I could have this function. The master's move of hitting the bull from a distance is so amazing. I admire him so much. Draft paper with a missing corner, I am just a supporting role. My role is to be torn. Cao Tianyu said that he really had no choice and was sorry to his good brothers. At this time, bubbles appeared on the test paper again. Cute test paper, it's so exciting. He. Cute test paper, the answer to the case analysis, I started to say it, remember to write it down. Test paper, first, does Li Huor commit rape? Second, does Li Huor commit the crime of using counterfeit currency? Third, does he commit fraud? Fourth, how should he be punished? Chapter 8 Scratch lottery tickets tell me how much I won. Test paper, the answer is here, write it down quickly, let brother Neutral Pen do it quickly. Cao Tianyu, I know, I just chatted with brother Pen. Test paper, in this case, for Li Hua's prostitution behavior, the legal level can only impose public security management penalties. Therefore, in the case where Li Hua used ghost money to pay for prostitution, it did not constitute rape, fraud, or the crime of using counterfeit currency. It only violated the public security management punishment regulations and was punished by the relevant authorities. After getting the answer and writing it down, Cao Tianyu looked at the next big question with confidence. Similarly, under the guidance of the test paper teacher, a total of 4 big questions were completed. A long sigh of relief. Looking up at the clock, it was already 3:26. Clock, my synonym, where has the time gone? 3:26. Cao Tianyu himself found it a little unbelievable that time passed so slowly. It was completely different from previous exams. He actually finished the 1-hour test paper in 26 minutes. The next step was to hand in the paper. After raising his hand, the invigilator came over reluctantly and said in a serious tone with a blank expression, "What's wrong?" Teacher, I finished. Can I hand in the paper?" Cao Tianyu closed the test paper and checked the admission ticket and other information back and forth. He was relieved when he found that there was no problem. The invigilator first glanced at Cao Tianyu, then slightly lowered his head to check the time on his watch and found that it was only 3:27. "It's not time yet. You can hand in the paper in half an hour." "Wait." Cao Tianyu understood immediately. It seems that he has to wait a few minutes. Let's take a look at the progress of others first. Candidate A, finished. So fast. It seems that you are guessing all the way to the end. Candidate B, 40 multiple choice questions and 4 big questions have been completed. It only took more than 20 minutes. Even the great Zhao Jie can't do it, it's just nonsense. Zhao Jie, this lunatic wrote so fast. TSK, high accuracy is the hard truth. A few minutes later, Cao Tianyu handed in the test paper and walked out of the classroom and came to the square. The bright warm sun shone on his body, which was a comfortable feeling. He crossed his 5 fingers and stretched his muscles for a few times, and sighed, I feel like I can't write anymore after not writing for a long time. In the teaching building, people came out in groups of 3 or 2. Just when Cao Tianyu was about to go out for a walk, so as to better check the usage mechanism of the listening to everything system, the mobile phone in his pocket rang. The caller ID turned out to be my mother. Mobile phone, read more books, read more newspapers, play less mobile phones, and sleep more. That makes sense, but I still have to answer my mother's call. Tianyu, how do you feel about school today? My mother asked with concern. Tianyu, how do you feel about school today? My mother asked with concern. I feel great. I just finished my exams. Really? Have you seen your girlfriend? Mom only cares about this question. Mom, we are still in the dating stage, how come we are girlfriends again? Cao Tianyu was a little speechless. Yes, she is not my girlfriend, but my daughter-in-law. Mom smiled happily and continued to increase her efforts. Cao Tianyu could only smile bitterly to please. After a while, Mom directly dropped a king bomb. Look at me, I forgot this important thing. Just now, through Aunt Shirley's introduction, I talked to your girlfriend's mother. We both agreed that you can better cultivate your relationship by living together. At this moment, Cao Tianyu's head was empty. He inexplicably lived with a woman he had only met once. To be honest, Cao Tianyu has always been a Buddhist and casual attitude towards relationships. Living together right away is a bit too rash. Mom, isn't this a bit, too? Tianyu, I'm just letting you develop feelings. I have something to do, and the second bed has an urgent matter. By the way, I've already rented a house for you. It's near Yuguanlanyuan Building 3, 1104. You can get the room card from the property management. Hang up. Beep beep tilde. The hang-up sound continued, and Cao Tianyu's head was buzzing. We were actually allowed to live together. I didn't expect that our parents are more open than us young people. In my opinion, Su Ningxue is not such a casual person. It can be seen that she will not agree to this matter. Besides, she and I are just cooperating. She will not and cannot fall in love with me so quickly. Thinking of this, Cao Tianyu's mind became more open. To be honest, I might not be used to living with a beautiful woman. Gurgle. I touched my stomach and looked at my phone again. I found that it was only a little after 3 o'clock and my stomach started to growl. Let's go out and take a look. Tianhai City, a typical southern city, the weather in September is still warm. As soon as they left the school gate, the girls wore hot pants and showed off their big white legs, becoming a unique landscape. Passing by a lottery shop. Suddenly, Cao Tianyu had an idea and walked into the shop. A man poked the scratch card with a coin. He was still muttering, another 2 yuan. I spent 500 yuan and got 135 yuan. With this 2 yuan, I only got 137 yuan, a big loss. The boss stepped forward to comfort the man. Next time, I will definitely have better luck. R. The man sighed dejectedly. Lottery. Let's try my listening to everything. The boss also noticed Cao Tianyu's arrival and hurried over. Handsome guy, what do you want to play? Scratch cards. Then the boss took out a stack of scratch cards from the window. He began to introduce various types. This one is auspicious and has a high winning rate. This one turns stones into gold, with a high prize. This one is. After the boss finished the introduction, when Cao Tianyu looked at the stack of scratch cards again, green bubbles appeared on the scratch cards. Scratch card A, choose me, I'm not kidding you, with a value of 10 yuan. Scratch card B, scratch me, 20 yuan. Scratch card C, choose me, blood loss. Scratch card D, I won't say anything, with a value of 1000 yuan. Cao Tianyu's eyes lit up and he pointed to the position of scratch card D. Boss, I want 5 yuan, 2 first. You can choose it yourself, they are all here. The boss took the 10 yuan handed over by Cao Tianyu and let Cao Tianyu choose it himself. Carefully pulled out 2 of the scratch cards and started scratching them in front of the boss. One is 20 yuan. One is 1000 yuan. As expected, it was just as the scratch ticket said. They will tell me the amount of the prize. It seems that the lottery shop is my unlimited cash machine. It seems that I, who fantasize about lying flat, am destined to have a disaster of wealth. When the boss saw Cao Tianyu won the jackpot, he smiled and said, young man, you are lucky. Do you want to redeem your prize first? The kind boss, this man is lucky. He actually won 1000 yuan. After listening to the boss's voice, I found that this boss is quite kind. Generally, the black-hearted lottery shop owners will scan the jackpot in advance and will not let people win it. And this kind of 1000 yuan prize is even more impossible to win. Cao Tianyu excitedly opened the WeChat payment code on his mobile phone. Okay, just scan the code. Ding. With a sound, 1020 yuan was credited to the mobile phone. The man who had previously invested 500 and lost more than 300 came up to him with an unbelievable look on his face and questioned, you actually won 1000. Chapter 9 Su Ningxue's confusion, the scratch card won again. Here at Tianhai University. The time came to 4 o'clock, and all the exams were over. Su Ningxue was assigned to the next exam room to take the exam. She was not assigned to the same exam room as Cao Tianyu, but to the same exam room as Yi Zihan. As soon as she left the exam room, Yi Zihan greeted her happily. Shue baby, how was the exam today? Oh, it feels so difficult, maybe only about 60 points. Su Ningxue knew the difficulty of this legal knowledge test, and the last few big questions were a bit messy, so she guessed that it was probably about 60 points. 60 points is the top level, or are you still thinking about Zhao Jie? Yi Zihan took Su Ningxue's soft jade hand and comforted her. Su Ningxue was stunned for a moment, and soon she spoke. I don't know either. Don't be unhappy, baby, I'm telling you, I found a weirdo in the teaching office this morning, wearing a sweater and a mask. I wanted to go to the bathroom at that time, but he tried to stop me. I guess he must be attracted by my beauty. Har har har. Su Ningxue was amused by Yi Zihan's words. In fact, Su Ningxue is Yi Zihan's best friend. They were high school classmates. At that time, they had a good relationship. They were admitted to the same university and chose the same major. Naturally, they cherished this friendship even more. At this time, the mobile phone in Su Ningxue's pocket suddenly rang. Yi Zihan saw the call and didn't continue to speak. She waited for Su Ningxue to finish the call in a playful and cute way. She took out her mobile phone and found that it was a call from her mother Sumai. Sumai's gentle and considerate voice came from the mobile phone. Shwe, how do you feel on the first day? Remember to tell me if you need anything. Very good, Mom, don't worry about me, I don't need anything. That's good. Sumai asked again, Shwe, the guy your Aunt Shirley introduced to you a few days ago. Are you still talking? Su Ningxue smiled awkwardly. Still, what's wrong? Sumai paused for a moment and talked about discussing cohabitation. I discussed it with his parents and considered whether to let you live together to cultivate your relationship. Su Ningxue, surprised and speechless. Seeing that Su Ningxue didn't speak, Sumai continued, Shwe, you also know your Aunt Shirley's character. The boy she introduced is definitely not a perverted hooligan. Besides, it's just to cultivate feelings, that is, to share a house. I know, but Su Ningxue found it a little hard to accept. After all, it was more or less strange for her to live with a strange man. So, if he behaves in a strange way, you tell Aunt Shirley, but you can't be unreasonable. Sumai saw her daughter's doubts and repeatedly reminded her. After thinking for a while, Su Ningxue reluctantly agreed. Sumai told her the address and specific location of the house, and then hung up the phone. After listening to Su Ningxue answering the phone, Yi Zihan pretended to be a little angry. Shwe baby, you didn't tell me such a big thing. Su Ningxue immediately apologized and told Yi Zihan that it was all fake. Unexpectedly, the parents took it seriously. What should I do now? Su Ningxue didn't know what to do now. Yi Zihan whispered an idea to Su Ningxue. Will this work? Su Ningxue asked. Yi Zihan gave a firm look. Try it. At Violet Building. Sumai seemed to have made a decision. Her lips moved slightly and she said to herself, Shwe, you must be fine. Lottery shop. The man who had lost money buying scratch cards before saw Cao Tianyu won 1,000, and hurried over. The man looked around Cao Tianyu and found that there was nothing special about him, so he watched from the side and learned from him. Cao Tianyu was not idle either. When he stared at the scratch card, green bubbles appeared again. Scratch me, just waste your time. Scratch me, 0 yuan is also love, come again next time. Scratch me, win 10 yuan. Scratch me and get a direct reward of 3,000 yuan. Sure enough, most of them have no prizes. Small gambling is fun, big gambling hurts the body, a true saying. The boss saw Cao Tianyu still looking at it and asked with a smile. Good luck, young man, do you want to have some more? Cao Tianyu pretended to hesitate for a while and said he was taking a look. After thinking about it, he scanned the code for 50 yuan and selected 10 scratch tickets. Boss, this one, and this one, this one, this one, it's done. The boss handed the scratch tickets to Cao Tianyu according to the ones he just selected. Took the scratch tickets. The boss and the man all leaned over. Cao Tianyu scratched them one by one. The first one was 2 yuan. The second one was 0 yuan. The third one was 0 yuan again. The fourth one was 0 yuan again. The fifth one was 0 yuan too. The man shook his head, as if to say that his luck was just like that. The boss smiled when he saw that a few tickets didn't win. Young man, this scratch ticket is like life. There is no winning all the way. There are many no prizes. The boss looked to be in his 50s. It was amazing that he could understand this truth. But how could he know that he did it on purpose, otherwise he would be suspected by others if he won every ticket? Cao Tianyu smiled bitterly and continued to scratch. Because Cao Tianyu knew that the next few tickets were all winning information. The sixth ticket won 100 yuan directly. The boss smiled calmly. You are really lucky. You have already earned 50. The man came over again, hesitant. The seventh ticket was 200 yuan. The boss was a little surprised. He won again. The man was scratching his head. What happened? Was he cheating? The eighth ticket was scratched and he won 500 yuan directly. The boss wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. Although he did not reject the big prize, he could not bear it if he did it this way. If all the prizes were lost, who would buy it? The ninth ticket was another 500 yuan. The boss was already numb. The man also stayed there motionless, so he won all the prizes. The last ticket, when Cao Tianyu finished scratching, was 3,000 yuan. The boss rubbed his eyes and checked the number on it. It was indeed 3,000 yuan. The man next to him excitedly grabbed Cao Tianyu's right hand, which was the hand he used to scratch the lottery. He was still muttering, "The right hand of the god of wealth." Cao Tianyu quickly pulled out his right hand and smiled. Just a little luck, hee. He would not say that it was because the scratch cards told him. To put it another way, no one would believe it even if he said it. The boss carefully checked the scratch cards one by one and found no problems. Maybe it was just luck. 100 plus 200 plus 500 plus 500 plus 3,000, a total of 4,300 yuan minus 50 yuan, plus the 1,020 yuan earned from the previous 2 scratch cards minus 10 yuan, a total of 12 scratch cards earned 5,260 yuan. The boss also took out a computer and started to calculate. This time it was 4,300 yuan. Cao Tianyu quickly opened the WeChat payment code. 4,300 yuan in WeChat. After the money arrived, the boss asked again. "Young man, you are so lucky today, do you want some more?" At this time, Cao Tianyu noticed that it was already 4:14. His stomach was growling with hunger. He declined the boss's kindness and went to find a restaurant on his own. Before leaving, Cao Tianyu saw that the man once again refused to admit defeat and bought scratch tickets, as if he thought luck was contagious. Chapter 10 Hidden Function Activated. The barbecue restaurant captures the criminal. Walked about 100 meters. A barbecue restaurant, the endless stream of customers in front of the store attracted Cao Tianyu's attention. Touching his hungry stomach, he pushed open the door and the aroma of various meats filled his face. Cao Tianyu ordered half a leg of lamb, a bottle of Fanta, and a slightly spicy sauce. After a while, the chef placed the leg of lamb in the middle of the oven on the table, and the leg of lamb began to rotate rhythmically. Thinking that it was just fine. So he listened and spied on it. "Roasted lamb leg, my meat is extremely delicious, you must try it. Please don't pity me, children eat me to grow meat, and it goes better with the sauce. Chopsticks, as a traditional Chinese tableware, I have a long history. Of course, it will be more suitable to use it with my good brother bowl. Bowl, brothers, I am the bowl for washing dishes, not the WAN of Shangguanwana, remember it. I am busy, don't look at me. I'll give you a sentence, people are the butchers, I'm the fish. Fanta delicious, fun, Fanta. Wow, the advertising slogan is all here." At this time, the lamb leg was almost roasted, and cumin was sprinkled from the top. A scent of cooked golden and burnt aroma mixed with the stimulating aroma of cumin mixed into the nose, so tempting. Cut a piece with a knife and put it into the mouth. The mouth is full of just the right amount of fat and crispy skin. Take another sip of Fanta, it's really delicious. Suddenly, a strong wind poured in. Cao Tianyu stopped eating and looked towards the door of the store. The first person to enter the door was a man wearing a baseball cap, not tall, thin, and dodging his eyes, as if he had done something wrong. Several people came from behind, and the man disappeared in the crowd in an instant. A few minutes later, the man paced back and forth, looking around, as if he was choosing a seat. After hesitating for a long time, he finally walked to the front of Cao Tianyu and sat with his back to him. He ordered a barbecue and lit a cigarette. Cao Tianyu had a premonition in his heart for some reason, as if something was going to happen next, and it was related to this man. At this moment, black bubbles appeared on the body of the baseball cap man. It was completely different from the green bubble circle before. Just when he was wondering, the voice of the system came in his mind. "System, ding, congratulations to the host for awakening the hidden function of the system of listening to all things." Cao Tianyu complained, "Awesome class, there is a hidden function. There is a hidden branch line here. System, please select the host's understanding of the hidden function, basic advanced." Cao Tianyu, basic and advanced. Is there any difference? System, the 5-second countdown begins. When the time is up, the advanced level will be selected by default. 5, 4, 3, 2. Cao Tianyu, hey, you're angry again, I'm just asking casually. System, 1 tilde. Cao Tianyu rubbed his forehead, hey, don't, I'll choose preliminary. System, congratulations to the host for choosing preliminary understanding. Cao Tianyu, why do I feel weird? System, hidden function of listening to everything. Due to the particularity of human voices, a certain color reaction will occur to the bubble voices generated thereby. Green represents safe voices, and black represents crisis voices. The bubble color is checked by the host, and the default is no color. After figuring out this hidden function, Cao Tianyu suddenly wanted to know the introduction of the advanced function, but the system's petty nature probably wouldn't tell him. Back to reality. Knowing that the man in the hat has a dangerous heart, the listening continues, clicks on the black bubble circle, and the voice is transmitted. Man in baseball cap, when should we take action? There are too many people, but Xiaomai is in urgent need of money. Are you going to take action? Are you short of money? Is he planning to rob Xiaomai or something? After some thought, Cao Tianyu prepared to observe his movements closely and deliberately through the chopsticks on the ground. While picking up the chopsticks, Cao Tianyu came under the table and took a closer look at his movements. It was found that this man had one of his left hands in his pocket. Even when eating meat, he only used his right hand. It seemed that there was something in his pocket. Cao Tianyu was not sure what it was. Maybe it was a weapon used to commit a crime. When his eyes focused on his jeans, bubbles appeared again. Jeans, Hatilder, you look so uncomfortable. Not only did you not take a shower for a few days, but you also put a piece of iron in me. Iron lump, what could it be? Just thinking. Suddenly, the man in the baseball cap alertly reached under the table and stared at Cao Tianyu for a moment without saying a word. When their eyes met, Cao Tianyu finally saw his face clearly. It was a dark face full of fatigue. After a moment, Cao Tianyu was left hiding under the table with an awkward smile. He picked up the chopsticks in a panic and stood up to sit down. Hatilder. Just then, his cell phone rang on the table. You betrayed my love, left me behind, and finally I burst into tears when I knew the truth. Tilder. After answering the phone, a woman sobbed. Qianzi, haven't you raised the money yet? The doctor said that if you can't raise 100,000 by 6 o'clock tonight, she will not be hospitalized. What do you think we should do, woo-woo? Wait a minute, I'll raise it soon. Her uncle and aunt have agreed to lend me money. You take good care of your daughter. Wang Qiang forced out a smile with difficulty, which soon disappeared, because he knew that his aunt would not lend him money. Cao Tianyu on this side clearly saw that his right hand was shaking a little when he picked up the phone. The man hung up the phone. Cao Tianyu once again peeped into his heart. Wang Qiang, where can I get the 100,000 yuan? Then, he dialed a phone. There was a sincere man's voice on the other end of the phone. Xiaomai's uncle, Xiaomai has acute leukemia, can you lend us some money? How much do you need? Then a sarcastic woman snatched the phone. I said Xiaomai's father, it's not that I, as an aunt, am harsh, but it will cost at least 1 million yuan to cure leukemia. With just this little money, it's a complete waste. I advise you to prepare for your funeral as soon as possible. After a while, Wang Qiang said, I know. There was an inexplicable quarrel on the other end of the phone. What are you talking about, woman? I'm telling the truth. I won't lend it, I'd rather die early, so I won't waste money, and I'll hurt people if I live. Snap. Cao Tianyu found that he hung up the phone and put it on the table. The trouser pocket tightly grasped by his left hand tossed back and forth several times. When he listened again, something incredible happened. Desperate Wang Qiang, I have no choice but to take a gamble, use this homemade pistol, and go all out. The iron lump turned out to be a homemade pistol. Although Cao Tianyu knew that he had a pistol in his hand, he should think about how to prevent this accident from happening. Chapter 11. The pistol was persuaded by me to surrender? His daughter has leukemia, no wonder he took the risk. Plus the indifference of relatives and friends. Suddenly, just when everyone in the restaurant was immersed in laughter, he suddenly put his left hand in his pocket and walked hurriedly towards the counter. It seems that he is ready to take action. Cao Tianyu followed closely behind, walked to a place one step away from you, ready to wait for an opportunity. The key is his left-hand pocket. Now, as long as Wang Qiang takes action, quickly snatch everything and you will be safe. At this time, he took out 200 yuan from his pocket with his right hand, handed it to the waiter and said, "Hello sir, the total is 125 yuan, 75 yuan for you." The waiter was looking for change on the counter, not paying any attention to the danger in front of him. "Here." The waitress smiled slightly and handed over 2 banknotes and 5 coins. After Wang Qiang took the money, he paused and pondered for a long time with his left hand in his pocket. Finally, he quickly pulled out a black pistol from his left pocket and pointed it at the waitress. The waitress hadn't figured out the situation yet, and when she understood it, the gunshot had already sounded. Cao Tianyu also reached out to grab it, but the other party was very fast and fired the shot regardless of everything. Instantly, the whole restaurant exploded. The diners rushed towards the door like crazy. Someone is robbing with a gun. I just came to eat barbecue, why did this happen? Call the police quickly. There were a lot of people in the restaurant. In addition to office workers, there were more students from Qianhai University. This shot did not hit the waiter. Instead, it hit the glass counter, but it exploded instantly and the fragments of the bullets were scattered all over the floor. Then he looked ferocious, raised his gun to intimidate, and let out a rough roar. "Everyone, squat down with your head in your hands, line up, open your mobile phones one by one, and prepare WeChat and Alipay. I only want money. Of course, if you don't give it, my gun is not vegetarian." Cao Tianyu suddenly found that the man in front of him was completely different from the father who answered the phone before. Could it be that money can really change people? Soon, everyone was arranged in 3 rows. Cao Tianyu was in the first position of the 3rd row. At this time, the children who had never experienced such a scene were already crying loudly with fear. Everyone squatted there, not knowing what to do. Several students behind Cao Tianyu whispered to each other, as if they were plotting something, which should be a way to deal with Wang Qiang. Suddenly, a bald man stood up from the crowd. He looked like an expert from his hairstyle. Wang Qiang glanced at him, his expression was indifferent, and he just looked at him quietly. "Scum. Bar. Your behavior has violated the law, you know. Just because you are scum and waste, you have no pity at all, and you still want money. Trash." The expert man spit viciously on the floor, then pointed at Wang Qiang's face and insulted and vented, not afraid that Wang Qiang would dare to shoot. This action caused dissatisfaction among other innocent people. Is this guy crazy? He dares to provoke the robber. I think he is mentally ill and wants to drag everyone to death. Woo 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 XX, my mother is still waiting for me to go back to play soy sauce. Wang Qiang stared at the people squatting on the ground and trembling, and then glanced at the expert man calmly, and slowly put down the pistol in his left hand from just raising it. Wang Qiang? Has his mentality changed? Cao Tianyu accidentally discovered that the bubble on Wang Qiang's head turned from black to green for a moment, just for a moment. Wang Qiang, it's ridiculous, waste. Trash. I did what a father should do, and I was called waste and trash. You who have not experienced any difficulties say that I am trash. Xiaomai, this shot is for you. Cao Tianyu felt that something was wrong. A father's last stubbornness was endlessly humiliated, and he would definitely do something crazy. However, the expert man didn't know that he was going crazy again. He thought that what he had just said had shocked him, and he began to speak nonsense and curse. Calling you a waste is really an insult to the word waste. A man in his 30s. Still a waste. The most failed father. It's over. This man said the last fig leaf in Wang Qiang's heart. Suddenly, Cao Tianyu noticed the sharp anger in Wang Qiang's eyes, and the corners of his mouth began to twitch, and his facial expression became distorted. The expert man thought that this man had an epileptic seizure and continued to mock, is it right? Is he really a waste father, har har har? Bang! The expert man who was full of mockery just now fell to the ground, and blood soon stained his chest red. Wang Qiang calmly blew the white smoke from the muzzle of the gun, and a pungent smell of gunpowder spread. Silence. The whole restaurant was so quiet that you could hear a pin drop. Cao Tianyu suddenly realized that the problem was serious. They were ordinary people who were powerless, how could they deal with a gunman? By the way, hold the gun, I haven't listened to this iron lump yet. Listen to what it says. The forced pistol. I just want to be a good person. Why do you let me do such a harmful thing? Please help me. By listening to Cao Tianyu, he started a dialogue with the pistol. Cao Tianyu, brother, believe me, I can save you. The puzzled pistol, why should I believe you? Cao Tianyu, do you still have someone you can believe in? Your master Wang Qiang created you. I believe it is definitely not to hurt others, but for his daughter Xiaomai, I believe you can protect her one day. Why did it become like this? The pleading pistol, Xiaomai, the innocent child of that master. I only have one request, can you save Xiaomai? Cao Tianyu, brother, no problem, Xiaomai, I will find a way. I still have 150,000 in my bank card. I will transfer it to her wife in the name of Wang Qiang. The last pistol, I believe you. Cao Tianyu, then how can I escape from your hands? Pistol, you should know. Cao Tianyu, fuck, I don't know. Can you stop riddle me? Hey, brother, junior brother Shah. Awakening from a dream. Although Cao Tianyu has understood everything, what should he do? How to survive under a pistol, who knows? I want to ask Jihu. Transfer. Wang Qiang walked to the front of the first row of people and said lightly. Several young college students behind Cao Tianyu couldn't stand it anymore at the same time. Such a villain, we have no choice but to stand up. Just ready to rush up and knock Wang Qiang down with the advantage of numbers. Cao Tianyu turned around and made a shushing gesture, shaking his head to indicate not to act rashly. Wang Qiang directly captured this moment, raised his pistol and shot Cao Tianyu. Bang! Everyone covered their ears, believing that another life had been lost. After the gunshot, when everyone opened their eyes, they were stunned. Because Cao Tianyu was not only fine, but also stood in front of everyone with his arms open, saying righteously, "Please don't hurt others, and be sure to point the gun at me." Chapter 12 Perfect Ending. John-san was dumbfounded when grading the test papers. What a hero! He sacrificed himself for others. He really did it. I cried my heart out. Get out of my way. I want to be his girlfriend. I'm 200 pounds and still don't have a boyfriend. I met my true love today. Other side as Cao Tianyu made the above moves. Wang Qiang was also confused. I clearly loaded the gun with 6 bullets and only used 2 rounds. How could I not kill him? And he was clearly hit. What happened? Wang Qiang checked the gun again and found that there was no problem with the trigger opening. Cao Tianyu walked in front of Wang Qiang in a cool manner, but was still pointed at by a pistol. Your name is Wang Qiang. You took a risk for your daughter Xiaomai, right? Wang Qiang's frightened face was a little stunned. How could this kid in front of him know his name, and also know Xiaomai? Just then, among the squatting people in the back row, a muscular man came out, claiming to be a fitness coach. Wow, his biceps are really strong. Brother, don't waste time talking to him, just go up and shoot him. Why are you pretending to be a robber when your pistol is broken? The muscular man showed off his physique and went straight to Wang Qiang. Wang Qiang was stunned, a wave of emotion flashed in his eyes, but the gun in his hand was still aimed at the muscular man. Swoosh! The muscular man rushed up regardless of everything, and his agile posture raised a perfect curve. With a gunshot, he fell to the ground with a creak. Wang Qiang looked at the gun in his hand in disbelief. Can it be used again? My pistol. Everyone was stunned. How could the pistol that was just broken be used again? Before Cao Tianyu could stop the muscular man, he went up. The pistol only shot at the promised person who would not shoot him, and others. The gunshot hit the muscular man, making Wang Qiang even more unscrupulous. It just broke down a bit, that's all. You don't think God will give you a second chance, do you? Cao Tianyu was helpless. I think there might be a third or fourth time. The old people behind him spoke to Cao Tianyu earnestly. Young man, pay up and accept your fate. You were just lucky just now. Yes, I still have some savings. If the money is not enough, I will pay for you. Cao Tianyu turned around and smiled. It's okay, I know what to do. At this moment, Wang Qiang had raised his pistol and pulled the trigger in an instant. Bang! After the gunshot, Cao Tianyu was still fine. What? 4 or 5 more shots were fired one after another, and Cao Tianyu was still alive and kicking. Wang Qiang was dumbfounded and said, how could it be? Are you cheating? Cao Tianyu just smiled slightly. You may not believe it, but I have agreed with your pistol, and your bullets will not fire. Are you asking me to believe in ghosts and gods? Die. After saying that, Wang Qiang threw down the baseball cap and fired more than 10 shots at Cao Tianyu, but there was still white smoke and nothing happened. How could it be? Wang Qiang's mental state became more impatient and violent. The next second, in order to test whether the pistol was really broken, he pointed the muzzle directly at his arm. When he quickly pulled the trigger, the gunshot suddenly rang out. The bullet penetrated Wang Qiang's right arm at the speed of light, and the pain made him kneel on the ground, looking at Cao Tianyu in disbelief. This is your luck, it turns out that I have no luck at all. After saying that, he fell to the ground and fell unconscious. At this moment, all the people behind Cao Tianyu rushed to Wang Qiang like a mountain pressing down on his head to restrain him who had already fainted. Luck? Really? Cao Tianyu said self-deprecatingly. At this time, Cao Tianyu saw the bubbles of the pistol again. Wings of Redemption pistol, don't forget the master's daughter. Cao Tianyu, definitely. At this time, the baseball cap that Wang Qiang had just thrown away also spoke out. Baseball cap, I am the little master's favorite existence, now and in the future. Cao Tianyu had a complicated expression, squeezed into the crowd and took out the mobile phone from Wang Qiang's pocket, and found his wife's name and mobile phone number. This is easy, just transfer the money. Leaving the barbecue restaurant, Cao Tianyu transferred 120,000 yuan with Alipay on the way, with the note that it was Wang Qiang's distant relative. Soon, the sound of sirens came quietly, indicating that things should stop here. Maybe it was not a perfect ending, but how could life be so perfect? Su Ningxue sighed. Su Ningxue and Yi Zihan, who had just finished their meal, walked and strolled along their way to Guanlan Garden, where Mommy Sumai agreed to share a place with Cao Tianyu. After communicating with the property management, Yi Zihan got the key to room 1104. As soon as the door was opened, Yi Zihan rushed in first and quickly checked the bathroom. Han, what are you doing? Su Ningxue found a sofa and sat down, a little puzzled. Yi Zihan looked around and observed the room settings, squeezed next to Su Ningxue, covered her mouth and laughed. I'm observing the bathroom. What's wrong? Su Ningxue was suspicious. Yi Zihan quietly approached Su Ningxue's ear and said slowly, I want to see if your blind date is taking a shower. What are you doing, Tilder? I asked you to do the real work. Su Ningxue pushed Yi Zihan and looked at Yi Zihan in admiration. Yi Zihan, har, just kidding, but these 4 bedrooms, 1 living room and 2 bathrooms are enough for the 3 of us to live in. At this time, Su Ningxue turned on her mobile phone and sent a WeChat message to Cao Tianyu as planned. Cao Tianyu didn't know if he ate too much mutton. His stomach hurt so much that he hurriedly found a toilet to take care of his physiology. While squatting, a WeChat message popped up on the top of the mobile phone screen. When he opened it, it was from Su Ningxue. Su Ningxue, that, Cao Tianyu, I'm in room 1104 of Guanlan Garden now. Can you come here for a while? About cohabitation, not sharing a house. Cao Tianyu smiled, and it seemed that he would have a debate with scholars tonight. No, a debate with beauties. After thinking for a while, he replied. Cao Tianyu, okay, I'll be home soon. Su Ningxue received the message and opened it immediately. Yi Zihan also came over and looked at the message. When he saw Cao Tianyu's reply, he couldn't help but sneak a glance at Su Ningxue, still unsatisfied. No, what's home? This guy. Su Ningxue explained. I understand everything. Yi Zihan gave Su Ningxue a look that understood immediately, nodded and held back his smile. Su Ningxue gave Yi Zihan a white look. Forget it, you'll know later. Cao Tianyu sighed. Oh, it's past 6 o'clock, hurry back, or you'll be late again like before. Cao Tianyu sneezed in the air, pinched his nose to check, and found that he didn't have any cold symptoms, which was really strange. Staring at the bright screen of the phone, it was already 6:21 in the evening. At the same time, in another place. Tianhai University. Law Department Examination Group. Zhang San, a special law professor at Tianhai University and the person who wrote the questions for this exam, fell into deep thought and emotion while marking the test papers. How is it possible? Is this a genius? Or is it luck? Even if it was copied from Baidu, it is impossible to have the same answer as mine, 1 word for 1. It was the first time that Zhang Yingzi heard Professor Zhang San's exclamation, because every year's opening exam, there is no one who scores more than 80 points. With a red pen on the answer, he quickly corrected a test paper in his hand, and came behind Zhang-san with a hint of doubt, glancing at the name on the test paper. It was written on it, Cao Tianyu. Chapter 13. Without saying anything, he started a duel with the two girls. Cao Tianyu. Zhang Ningxue called out the name from behind him, and Zhang-san turned around and asked, "Do you know this person?" Zhang Ningxue recalled the scene when he saw Cao Tianyu this morning. "Well, I don't really know him. I saw him when he reported this morning. He was wearing a mask and a sweatshirt. He said he had a bad cold, so I have some impression of him." Zhang-san pushed his glasses and exclaimed that it was incredible that he had done it exactly the same as the answer. The key was that the questions he made were different from those on the internet. Zhang Ningxue looked at Zhang-san's look of great joy, and once again thought of the scene in Rose Paradise. The next second, her lips curved up, and she thought to herself, "If it's really you, Cao Tianyu, then your college life won't be lonely." After hailing a taxi, Cao Tianyu sneezed again while sitting in the passenger seat. "Here again," Cao Tianyu complained. The taxi driver on the side saw this and laughed repeatedly, saying with concern, "Young man, take care of yourself. These sneeze too much is a warning from your body. You must pay attention." Then he gave Cao Tianyu a meaningful look. Cao Tianyu had to smile bitterly. "I didn't do anything. My body is still good." He gave 50 yuan and got off the car. After communicating with the guard for a while, he got the key of room 1104 from the property. In front of the door of room 1104, Cao Tianyu walked to the door with the key in his hand. "The gate, young man, you can't do this. There are two beautiful girls in the room. Take it easy at night." "Cao Tianyu, I can't hide now, right?" He immediately slammed the door hard, venting his anger. After a while, a response and footsteps came from the room. Creaky. As the door slowly opened, a beautiful girl with twin ponytails appeared in front of him. The next second, Cao Tianyu was dumbfounded. Because the girl with twin ponytails in front of him was the one who was about to stop him and ask where the cafeteria was. At that time, he was wearing a mask, so he probably didn't see himself. "Hello, I'm Yizahan, a good friend of Su Ningxue." Yizahan smiled and began to introduce herself. Cao Tianyu also walked in, introduced himself as he walked, and then found a single sofa and sat down. After a while, Su Ningxue sat on the sofa and stared at Cao Tianyu and said calmly, "What do you think?" Cao Tianyu was a little confused. Thoughts? Yes, cohabitation. No, what do you think about sharing a house? Do you agree? Sure enough, it's impossible for a girl to agree, especially a girl like Su Ningxue. Since that's the case, Cao Tianyu said half-jokingly, "It's like this, you and I know how parents feel, but it's impossible to be quick and easy in this kind of thing. So, I agree." Su Ningxue leaned forward, a little confused. "Agree? What did you agree to?" "Yes, you've brought people here, and I don't understand this." Cao Tianyu pointed at Yizahan. Su Ningxue was a little puzzled, and Yizahan was also confused. "Why is there my business?" Cao Tianyu pretended to show a harmless expression. "Didn't you say you wanted to add your friend and rent a house with 3 people? You asked me if I agreed, and I already agreed." Su Ningxue and Yizahan looked at each other. Their brains were already full. What kind of brain circuit was this? "I mean the two of us," Su Ningxue complained angrily. Seeing this, Cao Tianyu changed his words. "The two of us are fine." Su Ningxue was already vomiting blood in her heart, and reason told her that it was not worth getting angry about such a thing. Yizahan on the side was already laughing so hard that she couldn't close her mouth. She shook her little head, letting her 2 braids swing back and forth, and she was quite lively and cheerful. "Shwe baby, I can't hold it back anymore, your blind date is a talent, har 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 tilde." Su Ningxue quickly poked Yizahan with her elbow, asking her to carry out the previous plan first. Yizahan immediately understood, stood up, and cleared her throat. "Student Cao Tianyu, considering whether you and my best friend Su Ningxue are sharing a house, as a third party, I have a suggestion. How about a duel? Best of 3. Yizahan had just finished speaking. Su Ningxue directly grabbed Yizahan and pulled her to her side. "Why are you like this? It's different from your previous plan." Yizahan gave Su Ningxue a firm look, and whispered in her ear, "Shwe baby, believe me, I am sure to win." "Duel? I thought it was an ancient Roman duel." Speaking of which, this aroused Cao Tianyu's fighting spirit. These two girls are quite interesting. Cao Tianyu leaned on the sofa and said lazily, "It's up to you. What's the bet? If we win, you leave here and find a house to live in, or live in the school dormitory. If you win, Su Ningxue, I and you will live here together." Yi Zihan looked like he was sure to win. Su Ningxue would not agree to such a thing, even if Yi Zihan was sure of winning. She stood up and shouted Yi Zihan's name with a little anger. Yi Zihan made an okay gesture with great confidence. Su Ningxue glared at Yi Zihan, but thinking of Yi Zihan's confident look, plus past experience, she did not continue to say no. After listening to Yi Zihan's words, Cao Tianyu nodded and said, "Okay." After thinking about it, he found something wrong. Why did they win or lose, and both of them still live here? How about drawing poker cards to compare the size? Yi Zihan got a deck of poker cards from somewhere, shuffled them several times, and stacked them on the glass table with the back facing up. Then he began to introduce the rules of the game. The game is very simple: 54 cards, remove the big and small jokers. You and I each choose one, compare the size, regardless of the size of the suit. If the size is the same, continue to draw until one person's number is higher. How about it? Cao Tianyu nodded slightly. This girl is quite knowledgeable. For this kind of comparison, people often bet on this kind of bet at the gathering. Those are all suits, and they are basically cheating. They will definitely draw the peach ace. Now, in order to prevent the probability of drawing the biggest card of spade A, the suit size is directly cancelled, which makes sense. At this time, Yi Zihan pointed to the larger wooden table in the living room, took Su Ningxue's reluctant little hand, and said to Cao Tianyu, "The sofa here is too small. The space here is large and more suitable for dueling." The two women sat leisurely on the left side of the four-corner table. "Happy to accompany you." Cao Tianyu followed closely and sat opposite with a smile. "For the sake of fairness, at the beginning of each game, when you draw the cards, we will shuffle and spread the cards, and when we draw the cards, you will spread the cards, okay?" Yi Zihan continued. "No problem, ladies first, you go first, I'll shuffle the cards first." Cao Tianyu picked up a stack of playing cards, symbolically shuffled them a few times, then slapped the cards on the table, pushed them to the right, and all the cards were densely stuck on the table. "Yes, two beauties, please." Su Ningxue looked at Yi Zihan for help. Yi Zihan still smiled, with the attitude of a gambling god, took out a piece of chocolate from his pocket and ate it, staring at the playing cards to the right, and then quickly drew a card, but did not open it. Taking it in his hand, Yi Zihan began to cast a spell, holding the cards in his palm and pinching them again and again. Now is the moment to witness a miracle. When he opened it, it turned out to be the Ace of Hearts. Su Ningxue saw that it was the Ace of Hearts, and gradually showed a smile that couldn't stop laughing. "Cao Tianyu, it's your turn." "Good guy, it's starting to get interesting." Chapter 14, I'm going to stop pretending and get straight to the point. I'm the apprentice of the god of gamblers. I drew the Ace of Hearts at the beginning. I am so lucky. Cao Tianyu wouldn't believe it even if he was beaten to death. Besides, how lucky would he be to have an expression like Yi Zihan? At this time, Yi Zihan, with her hands on her cheeks, watched Cao Tianyu's movements with a smile on her face. "Student Cao Tianyu, it's still not too late to surrender now. Otherwise, if you lose, it will be bad to sleep on the streets." Yi Zihan blinked. Su Ningxue also folded her arms across her chest, watching Cao Tianyu's next card drawing action with a serious look on her face. "Let me try it." Cao Tianyu also started to get serious. All things began to listen with Cao Tianyu's actions. In an instant, dense bubbles popped out from the playing cards on the table. "Heart 3, I am Xiao 3, not that Xiao 3. 7 of diamonds, it is 7 o'clock. I cannot possibly lose. Club J, although I am not the biggest card, I am invincible when it comes to fishing. Spade question, sometimes I'm called Padan, sometimes I'm called Quana, sometimes I'm called Ku, sometimes I'm called Garda, so what is my name? Ace of clubs, I miss you not because I am lonely, but because I miss you I am lonely tilde please hit me as much as you want." So many densely packed individual bubbles that you can separate each playing card to listen. He listened to many cards in one breath, and after finding the biggest A, he aimed at the two beauties in front of him. Green bubble circles had faded above their heads. This should reveal some clues, otherwise how could this girl draw the Ace of Hearts at the beginning? "Cunning villain Yi Zihan, young man, you are still too young. You will definitely suffer the consequences. Su Ningxue's heart was in turmoil. Han Han used this trick again. She drew the ace of hearts right away. Isn't it too easy to be exposed? It seems that there is indeed something fishy going on, and it is hidden quite deeply. Back to the showdown. Cao Tianyu's fingers moved back and forth on the cards. He found that Yizahan's eyes were always focused on his hands. Is there something wrong with the cards? When he pointed to the 3 of hearts with his index finger, Cao Tianyu found that Yizahan's smile gradually brightened, as if she had already known the size of the card he had drawn. When she moved to the 10 of clubs, Yizahan's facial expression changed again, becoming very cute finally. Her fingers paced back and forth, covered a card, quickly pulled it out, and covered it with a palm. Su Ningxue blinked and glanced at Yizahan. Yizahan didn't expect Cao Tianyu's hand speed to be so fast that she didn't even know which card it was. Immediately, Yizahan leaned forward slightly, pointed at Cao Tianyu's palm and said, "Student Cao Tianyu, I have the biggest ace." "I know, and I also know that you ate a piece of chocolate." Cao Tianyu put his right hand on the table and smiled. Yizahan gave Su Ningxue a victorious look, then fixed her eyes on the table. "Nuo, are you also going to try the god of gamblers trick?" "Oh, let me do a set of gamblers." Yizahan. Su Ningxue. Facing the burning gazes of the two women, Cao Tianyu showed Andy Lau's signature smile, and at this moment he picked up the cards in his hand and threw them directly on the table. Ace of spades. Yizahan was a little dumbfounded, and Su Ningxue also looked incredulous. How on earth did they do that? Cao Tianyu knew that his chance had come to see what secrets they had hidden in this deck of cards. "Yizahan, how is this possible? Could it be that he knows my mark? This shouldn't be possible." Su Ningxue, Yizahan. What did I say to you? Cao Tianyu finally understood at this time that someone had tampered with the playing cards. Come again. Yizahan refused to admit defeat. Then I'll go first. Cao Tianyu said and directly drew out an ace of clubs. Su Ningxue was a little anxious, and pulled Yizahan aside. "What's going on? Didn't you say you would win? Who knew he could do the god of gamblers stuff?" Yizahan said righteously. Su Ningxue stamped her feet in anger, raised her hands and wanted to hit him but stopped. "I'll beat you to death. If you lose, you will have to sleep with him tonight." Yizahan said nonchalantly, "He." Cao Tianyu, who was not far away, saw two beauties whispering. The ultimate poker duel scene came to mind. After a while, Yizahan pulled Su Ningxue to sit opposite again. When Yizahan was about to draw a card, Cao Tianyu blocked Yizahan. "My two beauties, I don't think this is exciting enough. How about something more exciting?" Yizahan was very excited. "How's the excitement? Take off a piece of clothing for every game you lose." Bang! Su Ningxue slapped Yizahan on the head and said, "What are you thinking about?" Cao Tianyu smiled evilly. "What Yizahan said is also possible." "Absolutely not," Su Ningxue said firmly. He, what I want to say is, why don't you make it a little more difficult? Shuffle the deck of cards as many times as you want and stack them together. You tell me which card is on the bottom. If I guess it right, I win. If I guess it wrong, you win. Let's decide the winner in one round. How do you think? Yizahan once again confirmed whether the poker method Cao Tianyu just mentioned was true or not. "Are you serious?" Su Ningxue looked at Cao Tianyu's confident expression, then turned to meow at Yizahan. "Is this a trick? I've been prepared." Ding 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 tilde ding tilde, Yizahan took out a brand new deck of cards from somewhere. Cao Tianyu deliberately showed a painful and numb expression. "Student Yizahan, if you have the guts, don't change the playing cards." HMPH carrot, a light snort. The cards were shuffled several times and placed on the table. "Yizahan, Shui baby, you tell me the number." Su Ningxue gritted her teeth and finally spit out the number 36. "After all, this concerns my own shared rental. Student Cao Tianyu, although you are lucky, it is wrong for you to be proud and complacent." Yizahan said proudly. Because Cao Tianyu had never touched this deck of cards from beginning to end, he had no chance to cheat or do anything else. "Luck? I've always been good." Su Ningxue, are you sure it's the 36th card? Cao Tianyu asked. Su Ningxue was also stunned by the question and said, Cao Tianyu, before I start talking about my cards, I have a request. Yizahan, hurry up and speak. Su Ningxue, give me your hand. I want to use the law of conservation of energy to locate this card. No. Su Ningxue firmly objected. Yi Zihan thought that Cao Tianyu was an interesting person and his demands were not too excessive, so she started to persuade Su Ningxue. He turned around and whispered to Su Ningxue, "It was just holding hands. He was just pretending. It's impossible for him to be so lucky. Yi Zihan, you'll be in trouble when it's over." Su Ningxue was a little angry, but she couldn't resist Yi Zihan's nagging and agreed to his request. The next second, a sly smile appeared on Yi Zihan's lips. Su Ningxue gently stretched out her right hand. Her hands were as soft as catkins and her skin was as white as cream. This was Cao Tianyu's first impression. When he put Su Ningxue's hand in his own palm, he felt a chill, which was very strange. After just a few seconds, Su Ningxue subconsciously pulled her hand away with a cold face. Cao Tianyu also started listening mode. Card 34, no one will read it even if I tell you. I am just a supporting role. Card 35, please invite the next poker player to speak. Card 36, two birds fly towards each other, one is thin and the other is fat, guess a number. The name of the pirate ship of the 7 warlords of the sea lore in one piece. Put them together and it will be my poker cards, hee hee. After thinking about it, a number came to mind. I already know. Cao Tianyu said. Is this true? Yi Zihan didn't quite believe it. Su Ningxue was a little nervous. She thought that she couldn't really guess it. That was simply impossible. The 36th card, the 8 of hearts. Yi Zihan looked at Su Ningxue and they stared at each other in surprise. Then he picked up the playing cards and counted from top to bottom. 1, 2, 3, 34, 35, 36. Su Ningxue became even more nervous. She pulled Yi Zihan's clothes, waiting for Yi Zihan to turn over the card. Bang! After opening it decisively. The two women were already stunned. 8 of hearts. How did this guy do it? Seeing the two women standing there in disbelief, Cao Tianyu continued with a smile, well, two beauties, where should I stay tonight? Sofa. The two girls opened their eyes wide at the same time and said in unison. Chapter 15, Playing Chicken and Meeting Wu Die Seimer. Classmate Cao Tianyu, we are going to take a shower. Are you sure you don't want to go out for a walk? Yi Zihan showed off her beautiful legs and said tactfully and sweetly. Su Ningxue also stood up and said, Student Cao Tianyu, you win. But after all, we are girls, so we need to make a co-renting agreement, and you must definitely abide by it. Cao Tianyu rubbed his forehead. It turned out that one cannot trust everything a woman says, especially a beautiful girl. So he decided to go to the internet cafe and have a rest tonight. Late at night. Late Autumn Internet Cafe. A chain internet cafe near Qianhai University, with a nice environment and good service attitude. As soon as you enter the door, a refreshing fragrance hits your nose, which is completely different from the tobacco smell of other internet cafes. Hello, sir. Please come this way. The waitress in bunny girl uniform guided Cao Tianyu with a smile. Thank you. He walked all the way to the front desk, recharged 100 yuan, chose a good seat in the corner, turned on the computer, logged directly into PUBG Chicken Eating, and started a single-player ranking game. At the same time. Another place. Fighting Shark Live Room. The chef anchor Wu Dasima started a game of chicken as usual, and many viewers poured into the live broadcast room. The Hemer epic has started. Yes, we have a daughter. Walk slowly. Get ready, I'm going to start eating. At this moment, the screen was filled with comments mocking Mr. Mar's cooking, like a dish to go with the rice. Glancing at these comments without noticing, Mr. Mar even chuckled and took a big mouthful of rice, saying seriously, brothers, you keep saying that I'm a bad cook and can't eat chicken, but that's all for show. Well, from now on, I'm going to eat chicken. Teacher Mar said confidently. After the 60-second countdown, the plane began to take off. This route just went through P City. Without saying much, I jumped directly with a parachute. I took a look at the sky and saw that it was crowded, but I was not afraid. Then I marked the location of a rooftop in the urban area and quickly landed on the roof. As soon as they landed, gunshots rang out everywhere, just like firecrackers during the New Year, and soon the number of survivors reached 52. We looted supplies from the roof and came down to the first floor. Seeing the 98K and 8X scope in the house, and the level 2A and level 2 helmet, he immediately declared himself invincible. 98k, awesome. And 8 times more, I'm invincible, brothers. Then he walked to the window and picked up a bottle of drink. He vaguely heard footsteps in the room on the right through his headphones. Someone is here. Teacher Mar lowered his voice. At this time, footsteps came from the left again, and were getting closer and closer. He started to pull, and I blocked him with one hand to see what he would say. Immediately, he quickly went around to the right side of the first floor, and the sound of footsteps became clearer and clearer. The enemy's figure appeared, bang, quickly used the S12K to shoot directly at the enemy's head. Red words also appeared on the screen. Jinpai Chushi 888 used S12K to knock out Washishabia. Jinpai Chushi 888 eliminated Washishabia using S12K. After killing the enemy instantly, Mr. Mar glanced at the barrage and said seriously, "Brothers, what do you think of this wave?" The barrage also began to sophistry. Wu Di. This wave is a blast. It's Blitzcrank, the robot killer. Afterwards, he began to use various covers to kill 6 players who looked like Blitzcrank from a long distance. Brothers, what do you say about 7 kills? I found a jeep on the side of the road and started the Hemer map running mode. While running away from the drug dealer, Teacher Mar hummed a little tune while driving the car. In 1997, I learned to drive a car. Uphill tilde downhill tilde more than 1,000 people were crushed to death. The police came to arrest me, and I ran to the women's room. The light in the ladies' room, it wasn't on. Step into the shit pit and make friends with the poop. At this time, the barrage began to explode and took off. Memories of Wu past. Wu killer. In 1970, I learned to drive. I drove uphill and downhill, and killed more than 1,000 people. The police came to arrest me, and I went to the women's restroom, but the lights were off. I fell into the toilet and made friends with the feces. Records of the Grand Historian. The Golden Will Family. Sima Benji. Golden Will Confessions. Careless Friends. Teacher Mar couldn't help but laugh out loud when he saw the weird words in the barrage, and even his face turned red like a duck's head. It's actually a nursery rhyme that people born in the 80s remember. It's so funny, brothers. Har 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 har. Along with it came a group of weird IDs sending gifts. Thanks to me and Lao Mar for sending the plane to fencing. Thank you, fencing. Thanks to Lao Mar's Pai Yinzi for the rocket. Thank you, Pai Yinzi. Thanks to Lao Mar for the flight, thanks to underpants soaked in water. No kidding, I'm going to eat this chicken. I'll circle it and take it. I'll give you some painkillers first. At this time, the circle is pushed to the S-City side, and the water is drained to the south. At this time, S-City is still in the circle, but the next circle should cut it away soon. I found a high place in the building area and started shooting targets, killing 3 more players in succession, bringing the elimination count to 10 kills. Only the last 10 were left, and the circle was almost over. This is Cao Tianyu's side. The first time I logged in and played a game, I met the anchor Wu Dasima. Unexpectedly, the internet cafe's announcer started to sound. Owner of machine number 38 in Zone 3, you have matched with the anchor Wu Da Simer. The familiar announcer brought Cao Tianyu's thoughts back to a few years ago, just like when he played League of Legends a few years ago. For example, if someone became a king, the internet cafe would announce that XXX Crystal Trace King had been reached, which was really cool. This announcement just now instantly attracted many young people, who stood behind him and made jokes. Teacher Mar. I really want to fence with him. Golden Wheel, my golden wheel. I can't help but open the live broadcast room. Cao Tianyu was wearing headphones but still heard the topic they were discussing. He just found it funny. Are all Mr. Mar's fans really male ketones? The circle has been brushed to the end. So far, Cao Tianyu has eliminated 10 contestants because he was surprised to find that he could use the listen to everything function in the game. Wipe tilde. The sound of enemy footsteps came from the headphones, very slow and rough, seeming to be moving but not moving. This kind of enemy is basically difficult to detect, but with listening, everything becomes simple and rough. Cao Tianyu hid at the edge of the circle, parked the car aside, and found a big rock to use as a cover. Listen to start. Those enemies who were hiding would be captured directly by the bubbles coming out of their heads. Enemy A, I am here, who dares to kill me? Humph. Enemy B, a bunch of idiots. My luck in the circle is so great. I will kill them all. Enemy C, Xiao Chu is not a cheat. I don't have any technology. I can't beat you because I'm not as skilled as you. 3, 2, 1. Cao Tianyu silently counted in his mind for a moment, and in an instant he opened the center of the SKS sniper rifle and aimed directly at the position where the bubble circle appeared on Voldemort on the lawn. Although this gun has a strong recoil, Cao Tianyu usually likes the feeling of using this bolt-action sniper rifle. Bang! Voldemort was shot in the head and had a silencer, so no one noticed him when he fell to the ground. Voldemort, who the hell is this? I've been standing here motionless since the last circle. Who can see me? I'll report you and have you banned for 10 years. The people behind him were also extremely surprised. How did you see that? We have been watching until now, and there is no sign of him cheating. Is it a fried beard? That's impossible. The legendary instantaneous killing array. This is Teacher Mar. Seeing that only 5 people survived in the upper right corner and 12 of his own people were eliminated, D.A. Seimer's mental state became more tense and he waved to the camera. Brothers, here, let me show you how to win the game in the final round. Chapter 16, Heaven-Defying Spear Fighting Technique. The great Seimer of Wu was stunned. In the end, the circle was still refreshed on the lawn and the mountain. There happened to be a steep slope inside the circle, and the opposite direction of the high point of the steep slope was a poisonous edge. This was simply a chosen position. Teacher Ma's eyes sparkled and he drove the jeep onto the slope without any worries. After getting off the car and opening the backpack, 7 smoke bombs were very conspicuous. Immediately, Mr. Mar opened the scope at 8x to observe the distance. After opening and closing the scope several times, something green and yellow on the grass caught his attention. Hey, brothers, I see him, but it's dangerous for me to open and close the scope repeatedly. Oh yeah, I have an idea. As he spoke, the projectiles were ready, a smoke bomb was thrown over, followed by another, and then another, and finally all 7 smoke bombs were thrown over. The ghillie suit contestant was lying on the grass, surrounded by smoke, and nothing could be seen clearly. Even the computer started to lag and finally crashed. At this time, the number of survivors dropped to 4. Well, the attack on the graphics card was successful, but the boss's computer is not working. Har har. Teacher Mar lay on the slope with his hands turned back, and the self in the camera laughed like a mouse. On Cao Tianyu's side, they found some trees as cover, and there were only 4 people left. By listening, it was discovered that the other 3 people were one behind the stone, one was Voldemort, and one was Mr. Prima. Big tree, I am the only big tree in the PUBG bunker. I am the big tree bunker. I speak for myself. Lawn, the battle with Voldemort is the joy of the finals, what's the point of being the 6th one? Stone, I am the only true god, the cover true god in PUBG. Voldemort, don't laugh when the devils come into the village and shoot. It's more comfortable to sit on the mountain and watch the tigers fight. Teacher Mar, there are still 3 people. I have a bomb and a flash bomb. There must be Voldemort. I will just delay them. Suddenly, Cao Tianyu opened the map and found that there were bubble circles in the area covered by the poison circle. It seems that poison can also listen. Poison circle, logically, I will spawn near the slope in the next circle. It turns out that I will be spawned at Teacher Ma's side. It seems that I must kill Voldemort and the person behind the stone in advance. The circle started to brush at this time. As expected, it was brushed to this side of the slope. Teacher Mar also noticed that the circle was shrinking towards him, and then he began to wait quietly for the others to take action while he waited for his chance to act. Cao Tianyu took painkillers and started pulling. Voldemort also had to move, otherwise he would also be poisoned. The same went for Shakwai. Among the 4 people present, except Teacher Mar, they had to escape the poison. Teacher Mar was in the fate circle. The live broadcast barrage started again. It's over. Teacher Mar will definitely take this position. The others can't run away. If they make a move, they will die. It's difficult to seal the smoke. He really got it. I don't agree with that. At this time, Cao Tianyu had nowhere else to run to, so he could only stop at the lower point of the slope, but there was a great possibility that he would be taken away by Teacher Mar and the other 2 people. By listening again, I discovered the routes taken by the other 2 people to escape from the poison. Voldemort threw a cigarette to block the front, but the next second he was blinded by a flash of light from Cao Tianyu, who then fired a submachine gun and killed Voldemort. Here it comes. The people behind the stone also rushed out, but the only position was also occupied by Cao Tianyu, which blocked his position, and he was eventually poisoned to death. Currently, only Mr. Ma and Cao Tianyu are left on the field. Fateful duel. So exciting. High against low, this guy has no other options. Teacher Ma is awesome. I run naked right after eating PUBG. The barrage is becoming more and more exciting. Teacher Ma held his breath and couldn't take his eyes off the screen for a moment. Brothers, this one will eat me up. He can't move. At this time, both of them knew their positions. Teacher Ma was on the high ground on the slope, and Cao Tianyu was on the lower ground. The remaining objects had just been thrown by Teacher Ma. Suddenly, when Cao Tianyu raised the camera, he found a jeep, the one driven by Teacher Ma. Jeep, accident vehicle, please do not disturb, thank you. I looked at the submachine gun in the backpack again. There were only 5 bullets left, and there were no bags nearby to lick. Uzi submachine gun, the last 5 bullets, 1 magazine is gone, be careful. At this moment, Cao Tianyu fell into deep thought. This distance was too difficult. Teacher Ma could easily shoot me in the head. There is no choice but to take a gamble. Teacher Ma's live broadcast room. If he waits for his head to show, he will be dead. If I'm lower than him, he won't dare to show his head. Teacher Ma's analysis was very reasonable. Indeed, this position was too difficult. Even a professional player would have difficulty protecting himself. At this time, the rustling sound was transmitted into Teacher Ma's headphones. Teacher Ma stood there motionless, silently saying in his heart, if you dare to move, you will be the one to die. Unexpectedly, Cao Tianyu suddenly moved the seat, and Teacher Ma also started to get nervous. Suddenly, a head popped out, and Teacher Ma threw it over and shot it, reducing its health by 92. He didn't die. When he fired again, Cao Tianyu had already aimed the gun at the jeep and fired a volley of bullets from the submachine gun. Sudden. The screen on Teacher Ma's side went black and a line of words popped up. Second place. Teacher Ma, what happened? How did I die? Suddenly, the barrage of comments in the live broadcast room flew up. What kind of a hack is this? A lock? Or a sign? Severe punishment is necessary, and a 10-year ban for reporting is not excessive. Is it possible? It will be clearer if you watch the replay. Teacher Ma also stood in front of the live broadcast, expressionless. What's going on? Let me watch the replay. The replay began, and until the very last moment, Teacher Ma stared at it intently. He had to find out whether it was a cheat or not. However, after he fired a shot, Cao Tianyu's camera fired a burst of bullets at the jeep, and the game ended immediately. What's going on? Teacher Ma started slow motion and adjusted it to 20 times slow motion, which is equivalent to watching the picture frame by frame. He fired a gun and hit the jeep. The black thing bounced onto my head. What kind of operation is this? Teacher Ma was dumbfounded. The barrage also exploded directly. Is this the legendary shooting at the enemy from behind? Relying on the iron plate of the jeep to reflect bullets and eliminate the enemy. Is this a human operation? Gunfighting. Who on earth is this person? Even though it's a fishpond game, it's impossible for anyone to pull off this operation. Is it that professional big shot again? This is the internet cafe. The female voice announcer also announced the outcome of this round of battle. Dear friends, the owner of the number 38 machine in Zone 3 won the game with 15 kills and eliminated the anchor Wu Da Sima. Then 2 beauties in cosplay uniforms came and sat next to Cao Tianyu with their breasts exposed, speaking in a coquettish voice. Handsome guy, you are so awesome. Can you teach us? We also like to eat chicken. Cao Tianyu turned his head to the left and saw everything white, then he turned to the right and the white ravines made him swallow hard. Thinking that he still had to go to school tomorrow, Cao Tianyu had to politely reject the 2 beauties' request. Excuse me, ladies. I still have to go to school tomorrow. There's nothing we can do about it. You can eat the chicken first. The 2 beauties who were attacking him from both sides got up and left. Teacher Ma secretly memeized Cao Tianyu's ID, and it seemed that they had a grudge against each other. Chapter 17 Rankings announced, Zhang Ningxi is the counselor. Dude, wake up. Early in the morning, the internet cafe waiter pushed Cao Tianyu's shoulder. After a while, Cao Tianyu woke up and rubbed his eyes. He opened his mobile phone and saw that it was already 7 o'clock. He had to go to school quickly. Today was the day to announce the results and the day to divide the classes. He hoped that Zhang Yingzi would not be his teacher. The internet cafe is really nice, with all the toiletries and breakfast needed. After filling our stomachs, we headed straight to Qianhai University. At the gate of Qianhai University, the bulletin board is already crowded with people. Han Yu is the top student in the finance department again. She was the same last semester. I heard she's a rich second generation with fair skin and beautiful looks. I heard her family has a private jet, she's pretty, a school beauty, and has good grades. It would be great if she was my girlfriend. I'd rather live 30 years less. I am willing to live 50 years less. The top student in the history department is, as expected, the handsome and academic master Lin Xue. He is truly amazing. I heard that he knows ancient and modern history very well. I've also heard that in a professional course, the historical familiarity benchmark was so impressive that the teacher was embarrassed. How amazing is that? Oh my god! It's like a walking dictionary of history. As for the lore major, at this time, dust rose up, and a Mercedes-Benz braked to a stop. Then a thin man walked out of the driver's seat, walked around the door, nodded and bowed, and opened the door. Brother Jie, the results will be announced today, and you will definitely be the first. Another henchman in black clothes also walked out of the car door and flattered him. You are kidding, our Mr. Zhao Jie is the best in lore, right, Brother Jie? Zhao Jie rolled down the car window, fiddled with his sunglasses, walked out, patted his trousers, and looked around. He slapped the white-clothed henchman on the head, very annoyed. You get to say who's the first. Why don't you go to the bulletin board and check the results? The thug in white clothes lowered his head and touched his head, a little confused about what was going on. Why was he always the one who got hurt? He could only run towards the bulletin board in a daze. Lore Major Bulletin Board. The two beauties, Su Ningxue and Yi Zihan, had arrived here early. Because they were school beauties, they were quickly surrounded. Shui baby, this. What does this mean? Cao Tianyu. Yi Zihan pointed at the rankings and scores on the bulletin board and was unable to understand. Su Ningxue was also stunned for a long time. I don't know. I have never seen such a situation before. Her mind began to recall the duel scene with Cao Tianyu yesterday unnaturally. Zhao Jie's henchmen squeezed into the crowd step by step, staring at the notice board, and opened their mouths in surprise. What? What's going on? Then he rushed out in a hurry, but because he ran too fast, he accidentally bumped into someone. As luck would have it, the person was none other than Cao Tianyu. The henchman raised his head and looked at him proudly. Hey, isn't that the guy from yesterday? Cao Tianyu smoothed his clothes and looked carefully. You again? Oh, there's another Jie. That's right, Zhao Jie. Did you call Zhao Jie directly? Call him Brother Jie. Cao Tianyu said to Marzai with a bit of amusement. Brother Jie. Zhao Jie was standing there feeling a bit bored. When he saw Marzai stop to talk with others, he followed him and saw Cao Tianyu. Hey, isn't this the guy? Oh, I remember, Cao Tianyu. I heard that his score was never less than 90 points. Cao Tianyu. The thug in white clothes stepped back a few steps, his mouth opened so wide in shock that an egg could be stuffed in. Yes, it's that psychopath. You were not here yesterday and you wouldn't know even if I told you. Didn't you just check the grades? Tell him quickly about my grades and ranking, brother. Zhao Jie took off his sunglasses and waved his hand confidently. Cao Tianyu held back his laughter, because he knew his score this time would definitely be above 95 points. It's up to you, he said calmly. You are Cao Tianyu. The henchman was shocked again. Hurry up and tell them my score and ranking. Zhao Jie became more and more excited and couldn't help but want to slap himself in the face. Jie, brother Jie, you got 89 points this time. Marzai's voice trembled a little. After seeing Marzai say 89 points, Zhao Jie started to get sarcastic. Oh, only 89 points, oops, it was almost 90. Cao Tianyu just smiled in response. Xiaofeng, tell this mentally ill patient that I am ranked number 1. Zhao Jie continued arrogantly. The henchman in white clothes, Xiaofeng, began to stutter. Ranked second is you, brother Jie. What? When Zhao Jie heard the news, he was already stunned. He grabbed Xiao Feng by the collar and asked in disbelief, "Who is first? How many points?" Xiao Feng took a break, wiped the sweat off his face, then pointed in the direction of Cao Tianyu and said in a low voice, "That's the Cao Tianyu you mentioned. He ranks first. Where's the score?" Zhao Jie was obviously a little excited. This meant that a school beauty like Su Ningxue was not willing to be his girlfriend. The score is. What's the score? There are 3 question marks for the score. Zhao Jie spread his hands and looked at Cao Tianyu with a dazed expression. What is going on? The first place goes to this idiot? The scores haven't been announced yet. Is it fake? Or is Cao Tianyu a relative of some kind? Well, Brother Jie, right. I think your expression right now is awesome, since you are the second in command after all. Cao Tianyu said with a smile on his face. You? Zhao Jie clenched his fists and said angrily. Cao Tianyu waved his hand, said goodbye to Zhao Jie, and strode towards the bulletin board. At this time, Su Ningxue and Yi Zihan had already reported to the class. I found the notice board and it clearly said this. First place, Cao Tianyu, score. Second place, Zhao Jie, score, 89. Looking back, Cao Tianyu also discovered the scores and rankings of Su Ningxue and Yi Zihan. They were ranked 8th with 66 points and 16th with 58 points respectively. It seemed that they were ranked upper middle, but what the hell was this question mark of his? He turned his head and looked at the class division column. Class 1 list, Cao Tianyu, Su Ningxue, Yi Zihan, and Zhao Jie at the end. I briefly counted and there were more than 40 people, with the 3 big words, Counselor Zhang Yingzi, attached to the end. Damn it, it's really Zhang Yingzi. In this situation, Cao Tianyu couldn't help but recite a poem. College life is so wonderful. I was approached by my tutor right from the start. If you ask me why I was approached, I'll just go to the wrong blind date and have an awkward conversation. Ding-ling-ling. The school bell rang hastily, and Cao Tianyu felt as if he had returned to his childhood. Perhaps the bell of his childhood sounded even clearer to him. Class 1, sophomore year, Law Department. On the podium, Zhang Yingzi, wearing a black uniform, was staring blankly at the roll call list. Ahem, classmates, I'm going to start calling the roll now. The pleasant voice immediately made the classroom quiet. Cao Tianyu. Zhang Yingzi was the first to call on Cao Tianyu, but after looking around, he found that no one responded. Yi Zihan whispered to Su Ningxue, "Why didn't he come?" Su Ningxue gave Yi Zihan a white look, as if to say, "How would I know?" Seeing no one answered, Zhang Yingzi called Cao Tianyu again. At this time, hurried footsteps were heard outside the door. The person who came was Cao Tianyu. Report, I am Cao Tianyu. At this moment, Zhang Yingzi could finally see Cao Tianyu's appearance clearly. Immediately, Zhang Yingzi straightened her curvy waist and said in a stern tone, "You are late for the first class. You will stay outside for this class. And come to my office after class. The teacher will take good care of you." Cao Tianyu was shivering all over, wanting to cry but without tears. At this moment, he only wanted to say in his heart, "Auntie, next time I will never go to the wrong room again, never." Chapter 18. The first person to get full marks in the law exam. Right at the beginning, Zhang Yingzi greeted Cao Tianyu, who was ranked first, so warmly that it immediately caused a lot of discussion among the audience. On the first day, I was taken care of by the counselor. Can a beautiful counselor treat a top student like this? He is indeed ranked first, but his score is 3 big question marks. It is very likely that he has connections. Yes, that must be the case. Yes, it depends on what the counselor says. But I think so too. He doesn't look like a top student when he's late. Su Ningxue was also a little surprised. It was fine that Cao Tianyu, a person with connections, got into Qianhai University, but his scores were also a bit weird. Although he was a little smart, after all, law was not a major that a freshman could get high scores in. He even got first place this time. But on the other hand, it indirectly prevented her from being harassed by Zhao Jie. Then Zhang Yingzi called the roll one by one and began to distribute law books, waiting for the classroom to quiet down. Zhang Yingzi glanced at the energetic students and said, "Students, I am very surprised by this professional knowledge test. Because there is a person in our class whose results even amazed Professor Zhang San." The people below sighed again. Is it that Cao Tianyu? Or Zhao Jie? He got a high score of 89. I think it's Zhao Jie. Zhao Jie was sitting in the back row, looking a little disdainful, because he wanted to know how many points Cao Tianyu had scored, whether there were any results that couldn't be announced directly, or whether it was just a relationship score. Teacher, I have a question. Zhao Jie raised his hand and stood up, looking a little excited. Everyone knows that the rankings and scores on the bulletin board have been announced, but there is only one student, Cao Tianyu, who is ranked first, but his score has not been announced. Teacher, is this still a fair, just an open exam? As soon as Zhao Jie said this, many students' inner doubts were ignited, and they all turned their eyes to Zhang Yingzi on the podium. Even if Zhao Jie didn't ask, Zhang Yingzi was ready to tell everyone about it. Student Zhao Jie, please sit down first. Even if you don't ask, I will explain it clearly to the students. First of all, the first place in this exam is Cao Tianyu, no doubt about it. Secondly, as for your curiosity about why Cao Tianyu's score has not been announced, it is because his score is. Zhang Yingzi paused and continued, his score is 100 points. As soon as the words fell, the audience below the podium immediately went into an uproar. What? 100 points? This is a question set by Professor Zhang San, who is known as the lawless lunatic. I'm already confused. I thought 89 points was already impressive, but I didn't expect there is someone more courageous than him. Whose general is this? Par, whose boyfriend is this? The most important thing is that the counselor personally cleared the name of this Cao Tianyu. I'm a mess, I need support. Only 89 points. How dare you challenge someone who got full marks? Zhao Jie heard someone's mocking tone and wanted to bury his head under the table. He couldn't afford to lose face, so he clenched his fists even tighter. Shue baby, Cao Tianyu actually got 100 points in the exam and directly ranked first. Logically, he should be your boyfriend. Yi Zihan whispered to Su Ningxue. Su Ningxue was stunned and didn't hear what Yi Zihan said clearly. After a while, she said, 100 points. How did you get that? Yi Zihan grinned, yeah, your boyfriend is amazing. Su Ningxue, go to hell. But the next second a big question mark appeared in her mind. At this moment, Cao Tianyu stood in the corridor in a daze and sneezed violently. Did he catch a cold again? Or was someone thinking about me? Ding! The system's voice suddenly appeared. System, congratulations to the host for getting 100 points in the opening exam. Cao Tianyu, damn, the system is finally here? What is the reward this time? System, in order to stimulate the host's enthusiasm for learning, the host has been provided with a choice of 2 rewards. Reward 1, Tiger Light Rod. After use, it can turn into light for 3 minutes. Usage requirements, this reward can only be used once, and you must perform Tiger's transformation actions in sequence, there must be background music, you must have no distractions, and finally it must be used on a positive energy event. Reward 2, UGIO card Blue Eyes White Dragon. After using it, you can transform into a dragon for 1 minute. Usage requirements, this reward can only be used once, you must transform under BGM, you must watch the animation episode of Kyber Lazy Man defeating Yugi 100 times, and finally you must use it for a positive energy event. The reward will be automatically selected after 5 seconds, and the default selection is reward 2. Cao Tianyu, damn it, system, you still come. System, 5, 4, 3, 2. Cao Tianyu, I choose reward 1, system, you are so shameless. System, the selection is complete. The host has been given a reward of a magic wand. The host can claim the reward by reciting it in his mind. Immediately, Cao Tianyu silently repeated the name of the divine light stick in his mind, and in an instant, Ultraman Tiger's transformation device appeared in his hand. Is this the magic wand? Cao Tianyu weighed it and felt it was very light. The magic stick was immediately unhappy. God light stick, hey, don't look down on me. The only way to become a giant is to boil Dagu into soup. Cao Tianyu just wants to complain that you are really a genius. Then, taking advantage of the bright sunshine, he started playing with the magic wand. The next second, a sound of footsteps came from the classroom. Cao Tianyu, who was still playing with the magic stick, aimed it at the center of the sunlight, muttering the lines of a late-stage Jinibia, light, great light. Turn me into tiger. Snap, an evil hand slapped Cao Tianyu's shoulder. Cao Tianyu was so frightened that his whole body shuddered, and the magic wand in his hand fell to the ground. When he turned around, he saw that it was Zhang Yingzi. Awkward, socially awkward. Cao Tianyu gritted his teeth and explained, well, I'm studying what optical zoom can do. Yes, optics. Zhang Ningxi first looked up at the dazzling sunlight, then said with a half smile, Student Cao Tianyu, I didn't expect you to like optical zoom, and you also like Ultraman and Tiger. Facing the murderous aura in his chest, Cao Tianyu lowered his head unconsciously. Damn, when did he suddenly rush out of the classroom? Come in. First, introduce yourself to your classmates. Zhang Ningxi seemed to be laying a trap, luring the enemy step by step. Okay. Cao Tianyu picked up the magic stick and put it in his shirt pocket, then strode into the classroom. Zhang Ningxi followed closely behind, walked to the podium, rolled up her sleeves, and looked at Cao Tianyu who was facing her. Student Cao Tianyu, please briefly introduce yourself to everyone. Everyone focused their attention on Cao Tianyu, including Su Ningxue, Yi Zihan, and Zhao Jie. Cao Tianyu was also shameless, he held his head high and began to introduce himself in a dignified manner. Ahem, hello, classmates. My name is Cao Tianyu. I'm 25 years old this year. I'm a male, but I like girls. Oh, and I also like to eat delicious food and read books. I'm also good at communication and magic. Cao Tianyu's chattering caused the students below the podium to laugh, and some girls even gave him a flirtatious look. So handsome. My idol. I like guys who can eat a lot. My 200-pound body and Cao Tianyu are a perfect match. Oh, the way you talk is so cute. Zhang Ningxi, who was standing by, frowned and quickly signaled Cao Tianyu to stop. That's enough, that's enough. Zhang Ningxi, asked you to introduce yourself, why are you here to give a speech? Cao Tianyu stopped talking just then. The bell for the end of get out of class rang. Zhang Ningxi packed up her things and left. She gave Cao Tianyu a slightly angry look and said, Cao Tianyu, come to the office and talk to the teacher about how you got a perfect score. It's over. Cao Tianyu felt very disappointed. Chapter 19, I have to perform at the opening ceremony? After class, Cao Tianyu happily followed Zhang Ningxi to the staff room. Please sit down. I'll go get a glass of water. Zhang Ningxi seemed to be less stern than before. She put the documents in her hand on the table, went to the water dispenser, poured a glass of water, and handed it to Cao Tianyu. Zhang Ningxi, you little brat, if you fall into my hands, the opening ceremony is coming soon. Water cup, in this case, if the teacher pours water for you, you must not drink it. Opening ceremony? It seemed like a conspiracy. Cao Tianyu pulled a chair and sat down with a clear conscience. He smiled and asked, Teacher Zhang, you didn't keep me here because I was late, did you? Zhang Ningxi raised her eyebrows. She didn't expect that the person in front of her had such good eyesight. He was quite different from the last time in Rose Paradise. How about letting me guess? Cao Tianyu took the initiative. This way he would not feel pressured and would give the other party a chance to make a request. He killed two birds with one stone. In the end, he would have to agree to her request. Zhang Ningxi's beautiful eyes turned slightly, and she said bluntly, very smart, keep talking. Teacher Zhang, today is the first day of school. So, the opening ceremony is about to begin. Zhang Ningxi looked a little surprised. Zhang Ningxi, how could it be? How could he know that I was talking about the opening ceremony? How do you know that I was looking for you because of the opening ceremony? Zhang Ningxi didn't beat around the bush. Since the other person already knew it, he would just tell him directly. Teacher Zhang, you are counselor. Cao Tianyu's meaningful words made Zhang Ningxi feel that the man in front of him was very smart. Zhang Ningxi stood up at this time. Her tall figure perfectly matched the temptation of the uniform, and every move was slightly charming. You got full marks on the exam this time. I didn't believe it at first, but Professor Zhang-san actually said that he wrote all the answers to the questions himself, so there was no possibility of plagiarism. What's more, what you wrote is exactly the same as the answer. Cao Tianyu also spread his hands and said, so, you want to threaten me and say that I plagiarized? You want me to help you do something? I believe you wrote it yourself, but I also doubt whether you used some tricks, because no one in Qianhai University has ever scored full marks in the law exam since its opening, let alone the answer is exactly the same as the answer. Okay, Mr. Zhang, what do you want to say? I'll agree to it, right? Cao Tianyu just wanted to slap himself a few times. Why the hell didn't you change a few words when you wrote it? I want you. Zhao Ningxi opened her mouth but hadn't finished her words. Cao Tianyu protected his body with his hands and stepped back. You want me? But I'm a virgin. Zhao Ningxi was immediately defeated by Cao Tianyu's naivety. She hung her head in silence and said, I want you to perform for our class at the opening ceremony. Step forward. Cao Tianyu agreed decisively. Don't be happy too soon. What I want is for you to get the first place in this exhibition competition. Last year, we lost the first place to someone from the finance department, so we must win the first place this year. Zhao Ningxi crossed her arms across her chest, full of confidence. What? I have to take first place. I thought just telling a joke would be enough. Cao Tianyu was most afraid of this kind of troublesome things. Now he has to prepare for the show. He's sick of it. The honor of Class 1 depends on you, classmate Cao Tianyu. Zhao Ningxi finally set a trap for Cao Tianyu, but she was very happy. I asked you to tease me. Humph. Zhao Ningxi, all the honors go to Su Ningxue. She is the only one who can compete with last year's number 1, Han Yu, the school beauty from the finance department. Come on, Cao Tianyu. In fact, Zhao Ningxi was just teasing Cao Tianyu. The real performance program had already been found for Su Ningxue in advance. After all, Su Ningxue could dance and was also the school belle. As for Cao Tianyu, he was just having fun. It turns out that they want me to be cannon fodder, but why does it sound so awkward? The honor is so great that I have to take on the role of the funny guy. Leave the staff room. When I returned to Class 1, I found that almost all the seats were occupied, except for one empty seat in the second to last row near the left window. Without saying much, he just sat down. Through a brief understanding, I found out that my deskmate was named Li Zhuger, a little fat boy nicknamed Kong Ming. He claimed to be a know-it-all on campus. He knew everything about the ranking of campus beauties, the ranking of campus handsome men, and even the time when girls usually go to the toilet. Brother you got first place in the professional course this time, you are so cool. You slapped Zhao Jie's face so hard that it was swollen, and directly stopped him from thinking of becoming Su Ningxue's boyfriend. Li Zhuger said in a low voice. Cao Tianyu didn't care about slapping Zhao Jie in the face, but how come it was related to Su Ningxue again? He asked casually, what's going on? You don't know yet. Last semester, in order to get rid of Zhao Jie's entanglement, Su Ningxue promised him that whoever ranked first in the exam would be his girlfriend. To be honest, we were just taking the law exam for fun. Zhao Jie was obviously the best candidate. Who knew that you, brother you, would suddenly show up? Now Zhao Jie must be considering you as his number 1 enemy. Li Zhuger told Cao Tianyu the whole story in one breath, which made Cao Tianyu understand. No wonder Zhao Jie cared so much about the ranking. It turned out that he wanted Su Ningxue to be his girlfriend. I see. Cao Tianyu nodded. The morning class was boring and I just muddled through it. At noon, in the cafeteria. First floor. Cao Tianyu and Li Zhuger ordered a meal and found a place to sit down. Across the room, Zhao Jie and 2 of his men were discussing the afternoon's squad leader election while eating. Brother Jie, I've already arranged everything for you. There will be a class monitor election this afternoon. There are 42 people in the class, and I've bribed 19 of them for you. Add the 2 of us, and that's 21 votes. You will definitely be the class monitor, har 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 har. I have also contacted several candidates. It seems that you, Brother Jie, are the only candidate for class monitor this time. Even Su Ningxue has no intention of running for the election. So you will get all the votes. Zhao Jie interrupted them with his hand. Did you find out more about Cao Tianyu? Did you submit your campaign application? No, Brother Jie, didn't you see that he was the last one to choose his seat today? It made me laugh to death, har 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 har. Then I'm relieved. Go, each of you can get an extra large chicken leg. Zhao Jie happily threw out a golden meal card. Thank you, Brother Jie. The thugs said in unison and then headed straight for the destination. Soon after Zhao Jie and his companions finished their meal, they left the cafeteria to prepare for the squad leader election in the afternoon. Second floor. The second floor of the cafeteria basically serves noodles. Su Ningxue and Yi Zihan wanted to eat beef noodles. The fragrant braised beef noodles were garnished with chopped green onions. They tasted so good after one bite. The spicy taste was mixed with the fragrance of vegetables. They ate several mouthfuls in succession. Yizahan ate some noodles while asking, "Shui darling, why don't you run for class monitor this time?" Su Ningxue thought for a while before answering, "I don't want to be so bothered anymore." "Yizahan, do you think Cao Tianyu will run for class monitor?" Su Ningxue replied unhappily, "Who knows? Besides, no one will choose him." Ouch. Cao Tianyu feels like he's been sneezing a lot lately. Could it be that I'm really weak, as the driver said? Suddenly, a loud noise broke Cao Tianyu's thoughts. "Oh no, someone fainted," a girl shouted at the top of her lungs. Chapter 20, Competing with the number one in the medical department. Someone fainted. Hearing the sound, Cao Tianyu walked towards the center of the crowd, and Li Zhuger followed closely behind him. Squeezing into the crowd, I saw a slim woman in simple clothes lying on the ground. Her face was pale and her lips were purple. It seemed that she was poisoned or for some other reason, but I wasn't sure. A woman next to her, who should be her good friend, knelt on the ground, almost crying. "Who can save Yunyun? Is there anyone from the medical department?" "So?" Cao Tianyu asked doubtfully. Li Zhuger came close to Cao Tianyu and lowered his voice, "Brother Yu, this is Yunnana, and the one kneeling on the ground is her good friend Wang Xiaoxiao. This Yunnana is a common school beauty, her family background is ordinary, and she has many suitors in the school." Cao Tianyu seemed to be thinking about something. Suddenly, a man rushed in from the outside of the crowd. He was dressed very fashionably, and the pungent smell of perfume made Cao Tianyu feel a little uncomfortable. As they hurried along, the man began to disperse the crowd in a strange, anxious and irritable manner. "Get the hell out of here. Some people in the medical department can't even save people? You're such fucking trash." The man cursed in a suspicious manner, then began to feel Yunnana's pulse and observe her. "Li Shu, don't touch her." Wang Xiaoxiao didn't give this man a good look at all and pushed away Li Shu's hand that was touching her randomly. Li Zhuger continued to whisper to Cao Tianyu, "This man's name is Li Shu. It is said that his family is rich. He has been pursuing Yunnana, but she didn't care about him at all. Now he is trying to show his affection to her again. He ranked first in the medical department exam this time." Cao Tianyu listened to what Li Zhuger said without any response. "Shut the fuck up. Yunnana didn't agree to be my girlfriend, it's you who got in the way. Besides, Yunnana is the object of my pursuit, who dares to touch her?" Li Shu began to get a little excited. He had been pursuing Yunnana for half a year, but she had ignored him. In the past, he would only pursue a woman for a month at most. Thinking about what happened in the past 6 months, Li Shu raised his hand and was ready to slap Wang Xiaoxiao. Swish! At the critical moment when the slap was about to fall, just when Li Shu was excited, a hand grabbed his wrist. It was Cao Tianyu. Although they met by chance and were strangers, Cao Tianyu couldn't stand beating women. "Let me go, who the hell are you?" Li Shu cursed foul language, his hands hurting from being clenched tightly. Cao Tianyu suddenly found that he was more flexible and stronger than before. Could it be because of the all things listen system? As expected, the system in my mind answered my doubts with a ding. System, all things listening system, hidden mechanism introduction. Every time the host listens, the host's body functions will be continuously improved. So that's how it is. No wonder I feel a lot more powerful. "Let me go, you F-king kid." Li Shu tried his best, but his wrist still couldn't move. Li Zhuger hurriedly leaned over to Cao Tianyu's ear and said, "Brother Yu, Li Shu's family is quite powerful. There's no need to cause trouble for yourself now." After a while, Cao Tianyu let go of Li Shu's wrist. At this moment, his right wrist had turned purple, and one could imagine how powerful he was. "My name is Cao Tianyu. I'm from class 1, sophomore majoring in law. There's nothing wrong in pursuing beautiful women, but I'm sorry if you hit women. I despise it and can't stand it." Cao Tianyu's well-worded words directly ignited the wit of the onlookers. Girl A, what kind of man is he if he hits a woman? Girl B, Cao Tianyu? The one who got first place in the law exam. He's so handsome. Boy A, all the rich second generation are bad. Boy B, you hit a woman. I'm always hit by women. Wang Xiaoxiao gave Cao Tianyu a look of gratitude, but the most important thing at the moment was to rescue Yunnana. Li Shu felt unbearable pain in his wrist, but he couldn't show it in front of so many people, so he had to shake his wrist to relieve the pain. And the key point was that he had already thought of a way to defeat Cao Tianyu. Cao Tianyu? I've never heard of him. How dare you, any random person, pretend to be so arrogant? I'm the first in the medical department exam this time. Can you cure Yunnana's disease? If not, get out of here as soon as possible. Do you understand? Li Zhuge, brother, you don't fall for his trick. Cao Tianyu put his hand on Li Zhuge's shoulder and gave him a confident smile. Brother, I know my limits. See a doctor. Although I'm studying law, unfortunately, I also know a little bit about medical knowledge. Cao Tianyu raised his lips with a confident smile. You? Stop joking. I'm afraid you'll miss Yunnana's best opportunity. Li Shu said contemptuously. I am the top student in the medical department, and I am being mocked by a second-rate person like you? Are you kidding? I will embarrass you to the core. Could it be that someone doesn't even dare to compete? Hey, brother Kongming, let's go. I don't dare. Cao Tianyu said as he pretended to pull Li Zhuge up and walked away. You? Li Shu was a little excited. Passers-by also started talking. Passerby, no way, the top company in the medical department doesn't dare to compete in medical rescue. Could it be possible? Passerby B, I've heard that the medical department is full of water and empty talk. No wonder I don't dare to compete. Passerby C, Li Shu, I think you are weak. You are too weak. Are you a man? It's boring when you do it. Okay. I'm afraid of trash like you. Li Shu raised his finger and pointed at Cao Tianyu's face, sneering. Cao Tianyu smiled calmly and said, Mr. Li, watch your wrist. You? Then he put down his swollen wrist. Hurry up and start. Cao Tianyu turned around and walked behind Wang Xiaoxiao, leaned close to her ear, and whispered, Classmate, please believe me. He's the best in the medical department. Wang Xiaoxiao was a little scared. Li Shu was the best in the medical department. This kind of problem couldn't be easier for him. I'm sure of winning. Cao Tianyu looked at Wang Xiaoxiao with clear eyes, which actually made Wang Xiaoxiao feel a little moved. This man might really be able to rescue Yunnana and defeat Li Shu. Li Shu, stop talking nonsense, let's get started. Whoever wakes up Yunnana will win. Cao Tianyu, is there no prize? Li Shu was just worrying about not having a prize, but you actually said it yourself. If I win, you can call me daddy when you see me. Cao Tianyu, okay, if I win, you should stop harassing beautiful women. You? Har har, remember to call louder when you have more dads next time. Li Shu had already started fantasizing about winning. Well, okay, you come first. Cao Tianyu made a gesture of invitation. TSK. Li Shu curled his lips and started his own operation. Li Shu is worthy of being the number one in the medical department. He is indeed very professional. He first put his index finger under Yunnana's nose and found that her breathing was even. He then took a glass of water and fed her a sip, but Yunnana spit it out. There was still no improvement even though her lips were purple. Did she eat anything just now? Li Shu asked. Wang Xiaoxiao shook her head. Just like usual, we had ordinary meals, tomato and egg soup, very light. Li Shu thought for a while and asked again, in what state did she fall to the ground? Or how did she fall to the ground? Wang Xiaoxiao, I remember she took a mouthful of rice, then covered her chest, and fell to the ground. Li Shu meditated for a moment. Cao Tianyu also started listening at this time. Chapter 21, Can artificial respiration be performed this way? Li Shu, his breathing is even, so it doesn't seem to be due to cardiac arrest. So the reason must be the purple lips. One possibility is poisoning, but according to Wang Xiaoxiao, the food was bland and she ate it, so this can be ruled out. The second possibility is that it is caused by lung disease. Emphysema may cause lack of oxygen and purple lips. It is hard to say. The third possibility is poor blood circulation. The patient may have coronary heart disease and anemia, which leads to a decrease in blood circulation frequency, which manifests as purple lips. But these three possibilities are not the kind that can be easily treated. It seems that Li Shu has strong professional knowledge, but he has not yet found out the real reason why Yunnana fell to the ground and lost consciousness. The bubbles that suddenly appeared above the unconscious Yunnana's head made Cao Tianyu's eyes light up. Yunnana in coma, where am I? My head hurts so much, it hurts so much, Xiao Xiao, where are you? By listening to Cao Tianyu, Yunnana had the opportunity to communicate. Such opportunities are rare. People in a coma often do not have clear consciousness and may not have the opportunity to listen and communicate. Moreover, this is also within consciousness, and the person himself has no idea what is happening now. Yun Nana, my head hurts. I really want to sleep. Cao Tianyu, beauty, don't fall asleep. You are unconscious now. If you fall asleep in this state, you will be finished. Yun Nana, what should I do? My head hurts. Xiao Xiao, where are you? Cao Tianyu, you fainted, I have a way to wake you up. Yun Nana, really? Cao Tianyu, yes, if you follow what I say next, I believe you will wake up. Then Cao Tianyu told Yun Nana about this method, but Yun Nana was still a little scared. Yun Nana, is this really feasible? Cao Tianyu, believe me. Back to reality. Li Shu performed various medical rescue operations to rescue Yun Nana, but Yun Nana did not wake up. The many students who were watching were also getting a little impatient and started talking at once. Student A, why can't you save him? Do you know anything about medicine? Isn't this how good you are even though you got first place in the exam? Student B, this is too useless. He can't even wake someone up from a coma, and he claims to be the best in the medical department. I think he is the last one. I don't know if he cheated on his grades. Student C, is it possible that Li Shu is not in a good condition today? Li Shu wiped the sweat from his forehead. Being a little impatient, he pinched many acupuncture points on Yun Nana, including the Ren Zhang point, but Yun Nana still couldn't wake up. When his hand unconsciously touched Yun Nana's chest, Cao Tianyu bent over and reached out to stop him, preventing him from taking the next step. Well, classmate, I think you have tried various methods until the person fainted, but you still couldn't win. Now you are aiming at the person's chest. Aren't you having some unreasonable expectations? Cao Tianyu said jokingly. Li Shu said, I'm checking if she's suffering from hypoxia. Oh, didn't you check it once before? How can a top-ranked doctor in the medical department not even be able to detect the most basic hypoxia and still cover someone's sister's chest? Cao Tianyu exposed Li Shu's lie, and the students who were watching also realized that Li Shu just wanted to take advantage of the other person's unconsciousness to do something evil. Okay. I can't do it, you do it. If you can't wake her up, I'll make you pay. Li Shu stood up and said with disdain. Cao Tianyu joked, You may not believe it, but I have a nickname called Divine Dr. Cao. Li Shu, are you going to make me laugh to death? Why don't you say your name is Cao Cao? Then I will believe that you were saved by Huar Tuor, har ha har har. Hey, how do you know I have another nickname called Cao Cao? Cao Tianyu spoke nonsense with a serious face, causing people around him to laugh. The next second, Cao Tianyu slowly approached Yun Nana and signaled his classmates and everyone around him to stand back a little. When Xiao Xiao and Li Zhuger took a few steps back, their eyes fixed on the movements of Cao Tianyu's hands. Li Shu was also watching Cao Tianyu's every move with disdain. Li Shu, TSK, just pretending. At this moment, Cao Tianyu stared at Yun Nana who was lying on the ground from top to bottom, and his feet turned around her to the left, then to the right. You're setting up a formation over here? It's making me laugh to death. Li Shu couldn't help it anymore. When Xiao Xiao and Li Zhuger looked at each other in disbelief, thinking that this method of saving people was too novel. The students watching seemed to be in the dark, with disgust on their faces. There was a quack doctor before, and now there is a charlatan. Sure. Cao Tianyu made a quiet gesture, signaling others not to make noise. It's just a trick. Li Shu sneered. Here we go. The next second, Cao Tianyu began to listen to Yun Nana, directly entered her subconscious mind, and had a conversation with her. Cao Tianyu, now imagine that you are on the top floor of a building that reaches high into the sky. It is night and silent. What will happen when you come here? Yun Nana, I am indeed on the top floor now. I am so cold. I don't wear enough clothes at night. I can only hug myself and curl up to keep warm. Cao Tianyu, you stand by the guardrail and look at the scenery at the bottom of the building. Yun Nana, I walked to the guardrail, but why did I see only darkness? The guardrail I was groping for also became something imaginary. Cao Tianyu, suddenly, a figure flashed behind you. Yun Nana, who is it? I turned around and saw no sign of anyone. Yun Nana, why am I here? My head hurts. My body feels cold, especially my back. Yun Nana, I'm leaving. Cao Tianyu, hasn't he appeared yet? Yun Nana, I turned around and saw a faceless woman clearly. I was so scared that I took many steps back until I missed a step. You Nainer, Forling, am I going to die? Call. In reality, Cao Tianyu's method finally worked. It turned out that what he had communicated with Yun Nainer before was to let her associate what kind of nightmare she had that would make her scared. That nightmare was naturally about dreaming about herself jumping off a tall building. The next step is to come up with a high-sounding rescue method so that Yun Nainer won't be too abrupt when she wakes up. Got it. Cao Tianyu picked up a glass of cold water from the table and gargled with it, then opened his mouth and blew into his palms. What is this madman doing? Li Shu was a little confused. Was this a clown performing acrobatics? Wang Xiaoxiao didn't understand what was going on. Li Zhuger was also dumbfounded. It seemed that he was tired and was ready to drink some water. Next second, under the watchful eyes of everyone, Cao Tianyu moved closer to Yun Naina's face, and his pouting lips slowly bulged, slowly approaching Yun Naina's lip print. Li Shu was so anxious that he couldn't help kicking towards Cao Tianyu. You bastard! Give me artificial respiration. Then he thought to himself, why didn't I think of it? Wang Xiaoxiao coughed and was about to stop him, but at this moment, Yun Nainer suddenly screamed, jumped up from the ground, and hit Cao Tianyu's head directly on the mouth, causing Cao Tianyu to fall flat on his face in pain. Ouch, my mouth. After being knocked to the ground, Cao Tianyu touched his mouth. It hurt so much. Li Shu was in a bad situation here, because Cao Tianyu was bumped into, his sweeping kick missed, and his crotch was torn, revealing the big red shorts inside. Feeling embarrassed and annoyed, he fled away. The action of Cao Tianyu kissing Yun Nainer just now was seen by Su Ningxue, who was coming downstairs. Yi Zihan's eyes widened in disbelief. It's only been less than a day since Cao Tianyu met, and he dared to kiss in the cafeteria. His two open. Su Ningxue glanced at Cao Tianyu again, said nothing, and then walked out of the cafeteria. Chapter 22. I choose Cao Tianyu, he is the one that everyone wants. Wang Xiaoxiao quickly stepped forward to help Yun Nainer up, and was overjoyed. Yun, it's great that you finally woke up. Li Zhuger came to Cao Tianyu, and Cao Tianyu used Li Zhuger's weight to pull him up. Student Cao Tianyu, no, Dr. Cao, you are so amazing. When you just performed artificial respiration, I thought you wanted to apologize to Yun. Wang Xiaoxiao said with a wry smile. Li Zhuger also echoed and asked Cao Tianyu in confusion, Brother Yu, that move you just made was too powerful. Cao Tianyu dusted himself off and spoke nonsense with a serious face. Yes, the artificial respiration I just used is the highest level of remote artificial respiration. Li Zhuger immediately revealed a look of enthusiastic envy. Wang Xiaoxiao began to introduce Yun Nainer. Yun, this is Cao Tianyu. He is the one who saved you. Only then did Cao Tianyu take a closer look at Yun Nainer's appearance. She has willow leaf eyebrows, a fair face, and lively eyes that are quiet and gentle. She wears a white jacket and jeans, and is fresh and without makeup. Her thick hair gives her a kind of pure beauty. Thank you, classmate. Yun Nainer looked at Cao Tianyu and expressed her apology. Cao Tianyu waved his hand to indicate that it was just a small effort and anyone who saw this situation would contribute their own efforts. At that time, more and more students gathered around to watch. Meadow Eater A, Master Cao Tianyu, I worship you. You are the first person to use artificial respiration like this. I want to take you as my teacher. Melon Eater B, I am a little skeptical now. Does Dr. Cao know magic? This is the first time I have seen such a way of saving people. Melon Eater C, but Li Shu suffered such a big loss, Dr. Cao will be in trouble. Taking advantage of the crowd, Cao Tianyu squeezed out with Li Zhuger. Yun Nainer blinked and looked at the people in front of her in a daze, then said to Wang Xiaoxiao, Xiaoxiao, I had a nightmare that scared me to death. Nightmare? Wang Xiaoxiao asked. Yun Nainer said, yes, it was a dream of jumping off a building just like usual. Wang Xiaoxiao was lost in thought, and then she realized that Cao Tianyu was nowhere to be seen. Return to the classroom. At a glance, I saw Zhao Jia and his two thugs whispering in their seats, and they even laughed out loud when they talked about something emotional. Su Ningxue and Yi Zihan also came to the classroom to rest. Soon the school bell rang. The counselor still taught classes in the afternoon, but since it was the first day of school, everything had not been arranged yet. Zhang Ningzi walked to the podium, quickly wrote a few big words for class monitor election on the blackboard, and began to speak. Students, this afternoon, we are here to run for class monitor. Everyone agrees that the class monitor's duties are very important. On the one hand, he or she must promote class unity, and on the other hand, he or she must be strict with himself or herself and set an example. Immediately, Zhang Ningxi picked up a campaign application and continued. So far, I have only received one application, and that is Zhao Jie. According to the election rules, there must be 2 or more people running for class monitor, so classmates, I would like to ask if you have any potential candidates. As soon as these words came out, the students below began to discuss. I think we can just choose Zhao Jie. He has good grades and has written an application, so he's the one. I think we can choose Su Ningxue. After all, she is the school beauty. I don't agree. Can being beautiful be enough to make a living? I'm beautiful too. Sister, you weigh over 200 pounds. I'm afraid you're a heavyweight candidate for the election. At this time, Li Zhuge shouted loudly to support Cao Tianyu. Teacher Zhang, I think we can choose Cao Tianyu. He got first place in the exam this time. After he becomes the class monitor, he can help his classmates improve their grades. Cao Tianyu was also confused and looked at Li Zhuge blankly. Brother Kongming, I am not suitable to be the squad leader. However, Li Zhuge whispered into Cao Tianyu's ear and said something that made Cao Tianyu excited all over, and instantly made Cao Tianyu very alert. I also think Cao Tianyu is suitable. He is handsome and talented. I also think he is the right choice. I choose Cao Tianyu. He is the one that everyone wants. I heard that he just gave the school beauty Yunnan artificial respiration. I vote for Dr. Cao. The next second, many girls in the class were calling Cao Tianyu's name unconsciously. Cao Tianyu. Cao Tianyu. Cao Tianyu. The students who had benefited from Zhao Jie did not dare to show weakness. Zhao Jie. Zhao Jie is the one that everyone is looking forward to. Zhao Jie is my father. The constant buzzing sound made Zhang Ningxi feel a little annoyed, and she immediately stopped the shouting from both sides. Okay, then I know everyone's opinions, Zhao Jie and Cao Tianyu. In this case, it will be Cao Tianyu and Zhao Jie who will be running for class monitor. Zhao Jie, let's start with you. You go on stage and explain why you want to run for class monitor. Cao Tianyu, get ready. Everyone, welcome me with applause. With the applause, Zhao Jie walked onto the stage with a disdainful step. Yizihan asked Su Ningxue like a curious baby, Shui baby, do you think Cao Tianyu can win? Zhao Jie has bribed at least half of the people. Su Ningxue shook her head, I don't know. Then Zhao Jie began his speech. Classmates, as we all know, not everyone can be a class monitor. It is a person who is at the soul level of a class. It is a person who has the ability to lead classmates to win first place in various activities. I think I have this ability, and I believe I have this ability. Please support me. Thank you. After saying this, he returned to his seat. When passing by Cao Tianyu, he turned around and gave Cao Tianyu a gloomy smirk. And those students who received benefits began to cheer. Zhao Jie, the talented Zhao Jie. The invincible Zhao Jie. Zhao Jie, I want to give birth to 2 babies for you. No, 7 babies. Zhao Jie, so handsome. Zhang Ningxi walked to the podium and pointed at Cao Tianyu's position. Cao Tianyu, you come up and make a speech. Everyone's eyes were turned in this direction, making Cao Tianyu feel flattered. On the podium, Cao Tianyu scratched his head and looked a little shy. Thank you for your kindness, classmates. What about the class monitor? The following words were still coming out. Many of the younger sisters and classmates below were already cheering enthusiastically. Yushin, it's you. I recognize you. Cao Tianyu, I want to be your girlfriend. The God of Heaven is mighty and unrivaled in the world. Li Zhuge also joined in the fun. Squad Leader Cao. Squad Leader Cao. Squad Leader Cao. Soon many classmates followed the trend. Squad Leader Cao. Squad Leader Cao. In the end, it even became Caoban or Cao Lao Ban. Zhang Ningxi noticed something was wrong and quickly stepped forward to stop it. Stop. I know everything. Cao Tianyu, you can go down now. She turned her head and gave Cao Tianyu a resentful look, letting him experience it himself. Teacher, I haven't finished yet. Cao Tianyu looked at Zhang Ningxi a little embarrassedly. Zhang Ningxi was slightly angry, and his tone was somewhat helpless and cold. You, continue. Cao Tianyu cleared his throat, and when everyone thought he was going to give a passionate speech, he spoke. Thank you everyone. I have no more. Teacher Zhang, please continue. Silence, deathly silence. The whole class was silent. Zhang Ningxue, who was standing by, suppressed her anger, her blood pressure almost rising, and unhappily asked Cao Tianyu to step down, and the final election vote began. Thank you Cao Tianyu. Next we will start voting. Su Ningxue, you and Yi Zihan will issue and count the votes. Zhang Ningxue took out a small stack of red paper from her briefcase, which should be used for voting. She then showed it to the classmates and explained the voting rules. The voting rules should be linked behind the name of the person to be voted for. While Zhang Ningxue was presenting, Cao Tianyu stared at the voting paper intently. On the red paper, neat song font reads: Name, votes. The layout of 5 consecutive names for voting seemed to have been prepared long ago. At Cao Tianyu's place, bubble rings floated up one after another on the thick voting paper. Voting paper A, why is Su Ningxue not included? Oh, I like her so much. Voting paper B, Teacher Zhang's hands are so pretty. Voting paper C, why isn't he the get out of class over yet? Cao Tianyu was so upset that his face was covered with black lines. The election was about to start, and Zhao Jie had bribed half of the students. If this continued, he would definitely lose. After thinking for a while, a plan emerged in my mind. Got it, it's him? Cao Tianyu, who seemed to have thought of something, smiled confidently and brilliantly again. On the other hand, Zhao Jie was already sitting at his seat discussing which hotel to have dinner at tonight. Chapter 23, The Little Flying Stick is Coming, the old pervert criticizes the voting paper. Under Zhang Ningxue's arrangement, Su Ningxue and Yi Zihan wrote Cao Tianyu and Zhao Jie after their names on each piece of paper, thus avoiding the students from wasting time writing their names. After finishing writing, Su Ningxue and Yi Zihan each began to distribute voting papers. The ones Yi Zihan distributed are the first and second rows on the left, and Cao Tianyu is here. When Yi Zihan came to Cao Tianyu, he paused, bent over and asked in a low voice, Cao Tianyu, can you beat Zhao Jie? Let's give it a try. Cao Tianyu said. That's basically it. They have at least half of the votes. Yi Zihan slapped the table and chair, and Li Zhuger was shocked. Let it happen naturally. Cao Tianyu would not tell her that he already had an idea and the next step was to see the results. After a cold snort, Yi Zihan continued to distribute. The side where Su Ningxue was distributing the tickets was the third and fourth rows, and Zhao Jie was on this side. When it was sent all the way to Zhao Jie could no longer contain the joy in his heart. When Su Ningxue's delicate little hand put down the voting paper, the excited Zhao Jie subconsciously grabbed her hand, but was pushed away by Su Ningxue. Zhao Jie was a little embarrassed. Su Ningxue, don't you understand my feelings? This exam is definitely an accident, I will definitely win the class monitor. Classmate, please respect yourself. Su Ningxue said with a frosty face and a calm tone. Zhao Jie, when I become the monitor, I will organize a party, just for you and me. Su Ningxue refused without even turning her head, not interested, thank you. Zhao Jie thought secretly in his heart, you won't have any say about it then, I will definitely get you. After a while, all the money was distributed. Zhang Ningxue signaled the students to be quiet. Students, now that you have your voting papers, please exercise your rights and elect your ideal class monitor. As soon as the words fell, the students started talking about who to vote for and who to abstain from voting. Of course, the students who had been bribed by Zhao Jie had already written their names. Yi Zihan put a tick behind Cao Tianyu without thinking. Su Ningxue thought for a while, holding the pen in her hand without moving. Snow baby, why don't you choose yet? Do you still need to think about it? Let me help you. Su Ningxue hummed lightly, and Yi Zihan took the voting paper from her desk and made a tick behind Cao Tianyu. Suddenly, everyone put down their pens, and they should all be satisfied with choosing the class monitor they wanted. Then start recycling the voting papers. As usual, Su Ningxue and Yi Zihan collected the ballot papers, and soon they came into Zhang Ningxue's hands. Next is Cao Tianyu's performance time. Start listening again. On the podium, bubble rings were dancing in Zhang Ningxue's hands. Ballot paper A, I voted for Zhao Jie. Voting paper B, me too. Voting paper C. I was also selected by Zhao Jie. It seems that as expected, Zhao Jie has bribed at least half of the people. There is no other way, just communicate directly. Cao Tianyu, brother voting paper, I have a favor to ask of you. Voting paper, what evil ideas do you have? Cao Tianyu was slightly embarrassed. I mean, can you guys change the checkbox behind the vote? Voting paper, of course you can, because the handwriting is filled in by you, so the handwriting can only change other parts of our body. Cao Tianyu, that's all, thanks. Could you please transfer the checkmark in Zhao Jie's handwriting to the back of my brackets? Voting paper, no. Absolutely not. Cao Tianyu, why? Voting paper, because I am the referee, how can I do such a thing? Cao Tianyu, is there no room for negotiation? Ballot paper, yes. Back to reality. Cao Tianyu was about to give up, but unexpectedly a turning point came. Li Zhuger took out a stack of green sticky notes from his school bag. Sticky note, I have finally come out of my school bag. Please feel free to tell Deji what to do when it is my turn. Voting paper A, quarter beauty. Brothers, the green sticky note beauty has a great figure. Voting paper B, I really want to post it, but I don't think they will be willing to do so. Voting paper C, why is there such a beautiful paper? So you are this kind of voting paper. Cao Tianyu borrowed the green sticky note from Li Zhuger and started playing with it. Voting paper, put up the stickers quickly. Sticky note, brother voting paper, please save me, my head is about to break. Voting paper, don't be afraid, sister. Here comes the flying stick. Post-it note, my head is about to hurt. Voting paper, how despicable. You actually did this to your little sister, the sticky note. Cao Tianyu stopped what he was doing. Cao Tianyu, big brother voting paper, as long as you agree to this, I will satisfy any request you make. Voting paper, I originally didn't agree, but considering your sincerity, I reluctantly agreed. Cao Tianyu thought to himself, you are probably thinking about that person's little sister. Voting paper, I have another request. Cao Tianyu readily agreed, there was no other way. Voting paper, most of us brothers here like Su Ningxue. Can you ask her for an autograph and use our bodies to get her to sign? Well, this is neither difficult nor easy, but it still depends on Su Ningxue's attitude. If she is unwilling, there is nothing I can do. Cao Tianyu, okay, I'll try my best. Voting paper, yes means agree. Cao Tianyu, okay. Communication completed. Zhang Yingzi on the podium had already asked Su Ningxue and Yi Zihan to start counting the votes. Su Ningxue called out the votes and Yi Zihan counted the votes. Yi Zihan wrote the names of Cao Tianyu and Zhao Jie on the blackboard with just a few strokes, and the handwriting looked quite nice. Zhao Jie. Yi Zihan wrote the first stroke of the character on the blackboard. Zhao Jie. Another one. Zhao Jie. Another stroke. When the votes were counted here, Zhao Jie, Su Ningxue and others, including Li Zhuger, seemed to have already known the result. Zhao Jie happily began to discuss the class rules to be formulated after becoming the class monitor. In contrast, Li Zhuger was dejected and even unwilling to watch the subsequent vote-counting process, let alone believe in an inevitable result. Brother Kongming? Why don't you watch it? Cao Tianyu asked. It's over. It looks like at least half of the people have chosen Zhao Jie. Li Zhuger said unhappily. Oh, is that so? Cao Tianyu pretended to be confused. Just look at Zhao Jie and you'll know. He turned his head and cast his gaze towards Zhao Jie, and indeed they were talking and laughing. Hey, it doesn't matter if brother you didn't become the class monitor. There is still a great chance that what I told you before will happen. Li Zhuger comforted. Cao Tianyu nodded. Next second. The situation on the field was reversed immediately. Cao Tianyu. Cao Tianyu. Cao Tianyu. Cao Tianyu. Then Su Ningxue said Cao Tianyu 26 times in a row, because the correct name of Yi Zihan on the blackboard already had more than 5 strokes. And Su Ningxue continued talking about Cao Tianyu. The final vote count is over. Zhao Jie got 3 votes, Cao Tianyu got 37 votes, and the total number of people in the class, minus the 2 people who voted, was exactly 40, with 40 votes. Zhao Jie was dumbfounded. He slumped in his chair with his mouth wide open, so wide that he could spit out an egg. He muttered, how is this possible? I clearly. Li Zhuger sat up in shock and pressed his chin. He rubbed his eyes while enduring the pain and looked at the blackboard in disbelief. 3 to 37. Classmates, let's applaud and welcome the new class monitor to the stage. Zhang Ningxi was the first to applaud and looked at Cao Tianyu with gentle eyes. But he found that Zhao Jie suddenly stood up and shouted. That can't be the case. They obviously voted for me. Zhang Ningxi also felt that something was fishy, so she gave Zhao Jie a look and asked, Student Zhao Jie, what do you mean? Zhao Jie said excitedly, they obviously chose me. Why did I only get 3 votes? This is impossible. Zhao Jie pointed at the students who had bribed him, and they were also confused. I clearly chose Zhao Jie, how could this happen? How do you know you have more than 3 votes? Zhang Ningxi was suspicious. The counselor's keenness allowed her to detect something wrong. Zhao Jie stuttered. At this moment, Cao Tianyu was still thinking about the voting paper he had just promised. At the same time, Li Zhuger excitedly pulled Cao Tianyu's hand, happy for his successful election as class monitor. Chapter 24 Reward for cleaning the women's restroom. After class, come to my office and explain it to me. Zhang Ningxi looked at Zhao Jie sharply and said sternly. Then he motioned Zhao Jie to sit down. Zhao Jie had no way to argue at this moment. He sat down dejectedly, turned his head to look at Cao Tianyu, clenched his fists, as if pointing the finger directly at Cao Tianyu. Cao Tianyu walked up to the podium. Gave a very brief speech, very brief. Classmates, thank you for your kindness. Thank you again. There was applause from the audience. Girl A, Cao Tianyu is so handsome. Girl B, I have already reserved Cao Tianyu's girlfriend, don't fight with me for it, or I will turn my back on you. Male Ketan, Cao Baobao, I've known for a long time that you're going to be the monitor, and I've already booked a king-size bedroom, Mua Tilda. Sigma Vomit. Many students have been laughing like pigs and feeling like vomiting. This is too ridiculous. Zhang Ningxi looked at Cao Tianyu, who seemed to be hesitant to speak, and continued, Squad leader Cao, is that all? This time, Zhang Ningxi finally found out whether Cao Tianyu had anything to say next. Teacher Zhang is gone. Cao Tianyu replied with a smile. Zhang Ningxi was about to ask Cao Tianyu to leave. Thank you, Cao Tianyu, you can go back to your seat. When he was halfway there, still thinking about the promised voting paper, Cao Tianyu suddenly got excited and rushed to the podium again. Well, Mr. Zhang, there's one thing I haven't told you yet. Can you please? You? Zhang Ningxi's eyes were filled with shame and anger. This man was too speechless. He did such a thing twice in a row. Cao Tianyu, don't go too far. She lowered her voice so that only the two of them could hear it. Cao Tianyu also replied in a low voice, I really have something to do. You? Zhang Ningxi turned around and smiled, what instructions do you have, squad leader Cao? Classmates, since I'm the class monitor, I'm just asking if you can meet my small request. Cao Tianyu touched his head awkwardly, his eyes already focused on Su Ningxue. Su Ningxue also noticed that Cao Tianyu was looking at her, and immediately avoided him. Yizihan also noticed this and was curious like a baby, Xue baby, why is Cao Tianyu looking at you? Could it be that? No one will think you are dumb if you don't speak. Su Ningxue reached out and covered Yizihan's mouth. Oh, I'm the mute bride. Yizihan blinked her eyes, looking very cute. The students also discussed Cao Tianyu's proposal. Captain Cao, even if you say you want to travel to Mars today, we will agree, provided you have enough money, har 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 har. I think Captain Cao is going to confess his love to me in public. Look at his eyes, they are so charming. I am hooked. That's my baby Cao. Who are you competing with for your sweetheart? In the big bedroom, I have prepared all the props for tonight, including candles, whips. In order to maintain her dignity, Zhang Ningxi agreed reluctantly. She wanted to see what tricks Cao Tianyu would play next. Well, can teacher Zhang give me the voting paper? I want to ask Su Ningxue for her signature. It would be best if she signed it here as a souvenir. After all, it's my first time as a class monitor. After Cao Tianyu said this, Zhang Ningxi didn't feel uncomfortable. At first, she thought he would make some excessive demands. When the students in the audience heard Cao Tianyu's request, they couldn't help but make some guesses. Su Ningxue, the signature of the school beauty Su. It turns out that the drunkard's interest is not in the wine, but in Su Ningxue. Being pretty is good. I want to go to Korea for plastic surgery. Woo woo woo, I want to go to Thailand. Zhao Jie has cursed Cao Tianyu 1,000 times in his heart. Not satisfied with snatching my squad leader away, he now comes to pick up the girl I like. This is intolerable. Remember this. Student Su Ningxue, since class monitor Cao has said so, you should just agree to it. Zhang Ningzi also spoke, but of course not entirely for Cao Tianyu. Okay. Su Ningxue bit her lip and agreed reluctantly. Cao Tianyu also noticed that something was wrong with Su Ningxue. First, listen to your inner voice and find out why you have such a grudge against yourself. Su Ningxue, 1 second ago he was picking up girls in the cafeteria and giving people artificial respiration, and now he is trying to trick me into becoming the monitor. After he became the monitor, he even asked me to sign his name as a souvenir. Men are no good. It turned out that she saw the scene in the cafeteria where she saved Yunnana, and she thought she had done that to Yunnana. Cao Tianyu really wanted to slap himself. It turned out that he was in a difficult situation. He saved people but ended up causing trouble. Alas. Cao Tianyu took out the voting paper and handed it to Su Ningxue's seat. Su Ningxue did not give Cao Tianyu a good look. She quickly wrote her name on it and stopped after writing a few copies. Voting paper, you still keep your promise, but the name Su Ningxue is also. Did you do something to let her down? Damn, how did you guess so accurately? The next second, Cao Tianyu put away the voting paper and walked to his seat. Li Zhuger made a thumbs-up gesture and said, Brother you are so handsome. Oh, just average, third in the world. Har 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 tilde. Next, Zhang Ningzi told Cao Tianyu something that made him feel very disappointed. Classmates, you said that since Cao Tianyu has become the class monitor, he will definitely receive a reward. Do you think that's right? Zhang Ningzi is very good at whetting students' appetites. Once this is said, there is no doubt that the classmates will come up with various ways to reward Cao Tianyu. Reward squad leader Cao with a day off. I second the motion, but I would like to suggest rewarding Captain Cao by treating us all to a feast. Par, let Captain Cao be my boyfriend for a day as a reward. I'll let him experience what it means to be the boyfriend of a stunning beauty. A big bedroom as a reward for me and Cao Baobao. Okay, students, be quiet. Zhang Ningzi asked everyone to be quiet. An evil thought formed in her mind. Classmates, since Cao Tianyu has become the class monitor is not only the soul of the class, but also serves the classmates. I suggest a reward. Cao Tianyu suddenly felt something was wrong. This woman holds grudges very well, and this must be something that embarrassed her. Next second. Zhang Ningzi blurted out this with a vengeful smile. How about rewarding squad leader Cao by having him clean the women's restroom for a day? Quiet. It was as if the air had stopped flowing. Instantly, when everyone reacted, the class was in an uproar. Har har har, awesome, this is a reward. Teacher Zhang is awesome. Why didn't I think of that? Because I'm not a counselor, har har har. I want this reward too. Cao Tianyu just felt dizzy. This woman was so cruel. She clicked on the bubble above Zhang Ningzi's head, and her inner voice popped out. Zhang Ningzi, you embarrassed me, Cao Tianyu, now it's your turn. Li Zhuger couldn't help laughing and looked at Cao Tianyu seriously. Brother you, don't worry. There are special people to clean the toilets. According to my incomplete statistics, there are 124 men's toilets and 125 women's toilets in Qianhai University. Cao Tianyu was suspicious. Why is there an extra women's restroom? Oh, because of a certain woman. When Li Zhuger said this, his face looked a little bad. Someone? A separate female restroom. Maybe he has misophobia. Cao Tianyu couldn't believe it. This was obviously an attempt to be special. Sure, this is a big shot in the school, brother you. Li Zhuger looked around and lowered his voice. All right. However, Cao Tianyu did not take this matter to heart. Chapter 25. The provocation begins. My brother Yu is the first. There are no formal classes in the afternoon, so the time passes quickly. Plus, today happened to be Friday, and there was no school for the next 2 days, so everyone ran away as soon as the get out of class was over. Zhao Jie followed Zhang Ningzi to the office. After class, Su Ningxue and Yi Zihan did not return to their rented room immediately, but walked up the stairs, apparently to practice dancing for the opening ceremony on Wednesday. Only Li Zhuge was introducing things to Cao Tianyu as they walked. "Brother Yu, let me take you to a fun place." "Where are you going?" "Internet cafe." "Hey, as the saying goes, if you don't skip classes in college, it's like working in vain if you don't go online in college. You're like a dung beetle if you fall in love in college. Life is really free if you come to college to study. You will be anxious every day in the future." "Who said that?" "I." "Hey, let's go, Brother Yu, it's okay to play once in a while." As he spoke, Li Zhuge hailed a taxi, took Cao Tianyu into the car, and told the driver their destination, Wanqiu Internet Cafe. "Late Autumn Internet Cafe?" "The place where I stayed up all night last night." Cao Tianyu scratched his head and looked at the excited Li Zhuge in the car next to him with a slightly embarrassed look. However, Li Zhuge had no idea that he had already stayed up all night yesterday. "I got off the car and walked into the internet cafe." The beautiful young lady in uniform welcomed the two with a sweet voice. Li Zhuge's attention was instantly attracted by the temptation of the uniform, and he almost couldn't take his eyes off it. It was only when Cao Tianyu photographed him that he came back to his senses. Then he scratched his head and said, "Hee, everyone loves beauty." Cao Tianyu didn't say anything. After all, the ancients said that food, sex and nature are part of human nature. As soon as you enter the internet cafe, the faint fragrance fills the air, refreshing your heart. Li Zhuge asked Cao Tianyu, "Brother Yu, how are your LOL skills?" So. "I'm Platinum 3, come on, Brother Yu, I'll help you rank up." "Can." Before Cao Tianyu could even finish his sentence, 5 men walked in from the doorway. They were about 20 years old, not very good looking, with a shamat hairstyle, their hands in their pockets, and a ruffian look on their faces. The leading man walked up to Li Zhuge and said in a haughty and sarcastic tone, "Hey, isn't this Li Zhuge, who is known as Kong Ming? Are you here to be bullied again?" As soon as these words were spoken, the other 4 people immediately showed a mocking look and stared at Li Zhuge. The smiling expression on Li Zhuge's face just now suddenly disappeared. Then, his tone was slightly cold. "Ji Jingqian, am I bothering you by coming here to play games?" "Play games? Do you know how to play?" "I'm the king of Zone 1, the Canyon Master." "How can a platinum guy like you understand the game?" the man sneered playfully. "You?" Li Zhuge snorted coldly, pursed his lips, and his hands and feet trembled a little unnaturally. At this moment, a pair of warm hands rested on his shoulders. A magnetic voice, speaking every word. "A master of the Canyon of Heroes. Do you want to compete?" The person who spoke was Cao Tianyu. At this moment, Li Zhuge faced Cao Tianyu's burning gaze, and with a heavy feeling on his shoulders, he couldn't help but feel a little excited. "Brother Yu, there's no need. These guys are very strong. I'm afraid." Li Zhuge stopped Cao Tianyu and said that although he was very grateful for Brother Yu's heroic help, after all, he was a real king and his strength was far stronger than the rest of us. "Hey, you're brave. I like you as a friend. On the contrary, you, Li Zhuge, are too cowardly. It was just that I killed you last semester and you couldn't even leave the base. Why is it that you reacted so strongly?" Ji Jingqian started talking about how he killed Li Zhuge last semester. "This matter has nothing to do with Brother Yu." Li Zhuge's face looked a little ugly. He didn't want to cause trouble, and to cause trouble for Cao Tianyu. "Hey, are you starting to give in?" Har, it's too late." Ji Jingqian glanced at Li Zhuge and ignored his words, saying arrogantly. His hand unconsciously climbed up Cao Tianyu's shoulder. The next second, Cao Tianyu dodged lightly and avoided Ji Jingqian's action. Suddenly, Cao Tianyu waved his hands, frowned, and said calmly and half-jokingly, "I'll play games with you till the end, but don't touch me. I'm not gay." Someone next to Ji Jingqian couldn't hold it anymore. "Brother Ji, he said you are gay, har. In an instant, Ji Jingqian looked at the man with a gloomy face, and the man immediately became as obedient as a baby, lowering his head and not daring to make a sound. Ji Jingqian stared at Cao Tianyu with interest and said, "Since we are just playing games, we will lose interest if there is no stakes." "Of course. My bet is simple. If we win, you will have to avoid us when you see us next time." Cao Tianyu was not willing to be outdone. He thought that in his previous life, he was also the king of the canyon. Now with the support of the system, he should have no problem dealing with these people. "You little bastard. How dare you be so presumptuous? The four people around Ji Jingqian were eager to try, but were stopped by Ji Jingqian. Brother Yu, no need. Li Zhuger's tone also became very pleading, begging Cao Tianyu not to agree to such a thing. I know my limits, Cao Tianyu said confidently. Ji Jingqian also struck a pose that he thought was handsome, and said arrogantly, my friend, I appreciate your courage, but without strength it is just whining without reason. 5 in a row or one-on-one. Cao Tianyu said calmly. Ji Jingqian continued, 5 in a row is fine. I like it very much. But remember my bet. If I win, you must call me dad whenever you see me, Ji Jingqian. I like sons. Har ha har har. Brother Yu, the 5 of them have always been the kings in the team, so they naturally have a good understanding of each other, and Li Zhuger was still very worried and whispered in Cao Tianyu's ear. Trust me, I know my limits. Cao Tianyu's words gave Li Zhuger an inexplicable motivation, as if what he said was true. In a daze, Li Zhuger contacted his 3 roommates through WeChat. The dormitory WeChat chat group also exploded. What? 5 people in a row against Ji Jingqian and the others. Isn't this asking for trouble? I say, Li Zhuger, little Kongming, are you stupid? Their skills are comparable to those of professional players. We are platinum players, and the highest one is only diamond 2. How can we beat them? Forgot how I was abused last time. I can't even get out of the fountain, Seeing the timid messages, Li Zhuger took a deep breath and replied. Brothers, are we just going to sit there and wait for death? How can we know if we can do it if we don't try and work hard? We did lose miserably last time, but we also learned a lot. Believe me, we can do it this time because we have Brother Yu joining us. These inspiring words were sent out. It immediately aroused the 2-dimensional nerves of the 3 roommates. Fuck him. What a bullshit Master King. Ji Jingqian. Commemorate his own death tomorrow, get on the number. Not much to say, brothers, I'm going to start calling on the gods. Uzi, Xiaodu Bu, and Deft, all come to me. I forgot to ask, by the way, who is Brother Yu? There was a pause. Li Zhuger typed and sent it over. Brother Yu, my friend is number 1.